I want to talk about Evo, the fighting game tournament.
Oh yeah,
because
I saw James tied in like the list of what games are getting played.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the list that's got played.
Bro, with the Mortal Kombat.
I was gonna, I figured out I'd come back to that, but 3 days later I was like, well, you need to spell Mortal Kombat right to find it in the search thing.
All right.
I wasn't saying it was good.
I thought you were talking about my tweet. I'm like, did I misspell Mortal Kombat? Did I not?
You did.
Did I spell it with a C or a K? I don't remember it and I don't care.
That's the thing. It's one of those things. I'm pretty sure you've texted Mortal Kombat with a C multiple times. I went, I don't care. Mortal Kombat 11 sucked.
I don't care to correct you, sir.
But the games that you think would be in there are in there, and there's one inclusion that I'm just scratching my head at. Why the fuck is that in there? But 20th anniversaries, I suppose.
See, what I'd love to see is a fighting game tournament, but you ever heard of Gang Beasts?
Yeah.
I would love to see a fighting tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Evo stage.
Evo main stage, top 8.
That gay furry guy and some guy from Glasgow fighting in this round's elimination round. Spin a fucking wheel. Gang Beasts.
It goes past Tekken, Street Fighter 5, Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's looking like it's going to land on fucking Gang Beasts. What the shit?
There's one guy. Yeah.
One guy in the back. I made that game. This is the fucking developer.
That's the developer. He shows up to the Evo tournament just in case. He came on and just fucking stuck it on the wheel.
He's sitting there with 2 flags and a plushie. I made the game.
It was inspired by Beanie Babies.
My sister used to chuck Beanie Babies at me.
Welcome to the Gibberpish Podcast.
Well, maybe starting with a retraction, but we're here to talk Gibberpish, aren't we, Dom?
Yep, we are braving the weather.
Yeah, you came here with a fucking frozen testicle at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I left the house thinking, oh, the snow won't be that bad. The snow wasn't as fucking sideways as it was when I left the house. Then I walked the not even 300 yards from my house to the bus stop, and I was a snowman. I was covered in goddamn snow. Drenched to the balls.
He's thawing on my couch, kids. He literally has a towel down.
There's a towel underneath.
I appreciate the towel, though.
Yeah, I mean, no point in dripping all over somebody's couch. That's just bad fucking manners.
Well, our retraction. Very quickly, I just want to point out that in our Best of 2019 episode, I mentioned that Underground 6 had James Franco in it. However, it had Dave Franco in it.
Dave Franco.
Not a big deal. However, this all came about because it was pointed out by a friend of the show, Laura, who sent me a DM on Twitter to explain that she thought I was talking about James Franco in an episode, and I was like, I don't remember talking about James Franco. I remember talking about Underground 6, but I didn't know I'd mistakenly identified the correct Franco brother, which is frankly their fault because there's like 7 of them.
Yeah.
And they all appear in the same kind of mediocre tier of movies that are
around. And like, did you know that James Franco has like 4 PhDs or some shit? The guy's incredibly smart.
But not smart enough.
He does stoner comedies with Seth Rogen.
No, this is a bit darker.
Oh shit!
So Laura sent me the message to say, why didn't you talk about James Franco's like weird fucking fetish for young Scottish women? I'm like, what did you just say? Turns out that a couple of years back in 2014, James Franco slid into the DMs of a 17-year-old.
Oh,
in Scotland. There's a couple of articles about it. And it's so fucking weird because I think at the time he was, well, he's now 30, he's 35, he was 35 at the time. So he's sliding into the DMs of a girl 18 years younger than him. And I will point out, in case there are any lawyers listening, that technically not illegal.
No, not illegal.
Scotland, age of consent 16. New York, where James Franco works a lot, is 17.
Yep.
Technically wouldn't have been anything wrong. Just a bit fucking weird.
Yeah, it's just nothing illegal, just immoral.
And yet, it was so strange that people who were aware of the incident thought it was a PR bit. They thought he was doing some shtick. Because he was promoting it at the time he had just finished filming a movie where he, as a teacher, slept with an underage student. Oh, holy shit.
There's easier ways to promote your movie, dog.
Turns out, all a genuine misunderstanding. James Franco gave interviews where he said, whoops, didn't mean to do that one. And that 17-year-old girl probably is still walking around with a little bit of an ego boost. But yeah, I had no idea any of this has happened, and kind of fucking weird, like really kind of creepy.
Yeah, it is quite creepy.
Like there's a limit, kids.
Yeah, definitely.
As soon as that 18 number tends to come up a lot, like, again, would not have been illegal, but if you showed up to the pub with like a girlfriend who's just under 17,
yeah,
or just under 18, everyone in that pub is gonna just want a wee quiet word with you in the back with a pool cue.
Yeah.
So yeah. And it turns out that's timely, because I don't know if you've seen this, the Scottish Finance Minister is in trouble for sending about 270 texts to a 16-year-old boy.
Fucking hell.
Oh, it's fucking horrific. There's a lot of this whole kind of story going around, because it happened on the day he was due to deliver Scotland's budget. That's when the news was broke about this whole story. Turns out he's been trying to slide into the Facebook and Instagram DMs of a 16-year-old kid, insisting that they should go and get dinner together sometime.
Take a hint, you creepy fuck.
Bro!
Bro, sit down.
Oh, it's just
Nah, fuck that guy.
Just fucking disgusting.
No.
When I started reading that, I was like, that's fucked up. The James Franco thing was fucked up. And you hear that's happening with the Scottish minister. Unsurprisingly, that guy handed in his resignation and no one stopped him.
Yeah.
I believe Nicola Sturgeon's quote was, he fell below the standards required of an MP.
Yeah.
And I think one of his statements in public was that he'd
I fucked up. I fucked up.
made something of a silly mistake. Bro, you tried to fuck a 16-year-old boy.
16-year-old. How old was the finance minister at the time?
30s, mid-30s.
Yeah.
Mid-30s, probably in the 40s or something like that, and just recently out as a gay man. Like, bro, that...
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't have that the same week as the Philip Schofield coming out too. Quite a general kind of well-received thing.
Very much. Well done, you. A lot of people say, no, it's very brave, and to do it publicly, I can imagine, takes some fucking sack.
Yeah. On national television, on your show, with the interview being conducted by your co-host, who has known you for a decade and a half at this point or something like that. I think they've been working together for about that long.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to him for actually coming to the realisation that he is gay when he's been working with Holly Willoughby for years.
I didn't want to make the joke, but do you think that's what set it off? Like, he just realised it. Like, he was out with the guys and they're like, dude, how do you not get a boner around her?
How'd you do that?
And he went, I don't think I've ever... Oh my God.
I need to go home and talk to my wife.
There's some people making a big deal about the fact that he was married for 27 years. Like, there's nothing that says he couldn't have been a great dad, a great father, a great husband, whilst being a closeted gay man. I mean, I'm pretty sure someone's done it before. Why not Philip Schofield?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he was hiding it.
Yeah,
it took him long enough to be comfortable to put it out on national television.
Yeah.
And to be fair, give him major fucking props for doing it on national television.
Oh yeah.
How many people would fucking do that?
I wouldn't even publish it on Facebook. I'd just be like, hey, surprise. Like, you tell like 5 people, like, can we not make a big deal out of this?
Yeah.
This guy walks out on national television and goes, I'm a gay man. And everyone just kind of goes, wait, what? Yeah. Like, really? Like, for real? Okay, right. Right, fine. You've got the usual parade of fucking morons, obviously, but beyond that, I think it's been quite well received. Yeah,
quite well received, except one guy in my rugby club Facebook group chat that got kicked out promptly afterward for some very, very, very shitty comments.
Wow,
just a tirade of fucking just awful. And then, it gets bad when the head coach wades in and goes, right, mate, it's like, take 2 weeks off training. I don't want to see you, man.
Here's the thing.
All inclusive is the name of the game and you're just shitting on the table, dog.
We have a somewhat international audience. If you're not aware who Philip Schofield is, he's just a morning TV show presenter. And just a quite likeable, nice guy. I don't think he's ever really offended anyone. And you don't really have to try hard with British television these days to offend people. But this guy just kind of perfectly straight down the road, middle-lane guy, quite well reserved as far as like his personal opinion goes. He just does a morning chat show, and then suddenly one of the faces that most people in Britain see every day comes out as quite openly gay. So good luck to you on that one.
For those who have never seen it, and I don't think I've ever seen a full episode of it, I guarantee, particularly people who live in the UK, you recognise the 2-panel meme of Katie Hopkins talking to Philip Schofield and Holly Willoughby, and she says, I don't like geographical names for my children. Then in sync, Holly Willoughby and Philip Schofield in the next part of the video, or the next part of the gift, just say, you called your child India.
I should have checked up on what her response to that was.
Who gives a fuck?
Kate
I'm
Hudson-
pretty sure she's banned off Twitter anyway.
I'm saying you might be right now, but she's such a fucking dumpster fire of a human being. It's quite funny to go see what she's reacting, how she's reacting to news. It's like, bro, what is wrong with you?
No one values your opinions. That's why you got kicked off of all British media.
Speaking of not valuing anyone's opinions, the Oscars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did see that the guy that directed Parasite got a few Oscars. So
yeah.
I'm not even going to try and say his name, but Edgar Wright was a huge kind of prop up of that guy. He's like, dude, this guy is the next big thing. Get behind him. And I think he took 2 Oscars away.
I think so, yeah.
Joker only took 1 away, which was kind of a surprise to me. They got 2.
Best actor and best original score.
All right, yeah. My copy of Joker arrived today.
Nice.
I need to watch it. My next day off is Wednesday, so I'll probably watch it a couple times.
The next Gibberpish podcast will be sponsored by the Joker, in which Tom goes, dude, you undersold it. I'm like, I know I did. I really had to. You've got to undersell that movie.
Yeah.
And then, what was the other one? There was Taika Waititi walked away with
best screen adaptation.
Yeah. So he walked away with that one for Jojo Rabbit. I had lunch with my gran the other day and tried to explain the plot of Jojo Rabbit to her. She's like, have you been in the cinema recently? I'm like, yeah, I went and saw a movie. What was it about? Oh, I'm going to have to explain Jojo Rabbit. Fuck. It's about a guy who imagines he sees Hitler, but don't worry, it's a comedy. It's a hard sell, but it was worth it.
You can imagine, like, you're having trouble selling it to family members. You imagine how much trouble Taika Waititi had going into a studio. It's a Universal movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to the office of Universal going, so I have this comedy film about a kid whose imaginary friend is Hitler.
I reckon you sell every other part of the movie and then you drop the Nazi Hitler angle at the end. So it's about a kid struggling to come to terms with some questions about race and religion and stuff, and he's an imaginary friend that helps guide him and stuff, and we discover whether or not the friend is leading him down the right or wrong path. And I've got Scarlett Johansson attached. She's going to play the kid's mother. She's a single mother. She's strong, trying to fulfill both roles as mother and father in the household. It's going to be great. I really think everybody's going to love it. Sounds great. And there's Nazis. What?
It's set in Nazi Germany.
Yeah, it's set in Nazi Germany.
Did I mention Steve Merchant's in the movie? I got him.
Yeah,
Sam Rockwell, he's in there too.
He's going to be creepy. Everybody will be doing great jobs, but everybody's also kind of going to be a Nazi. So
just let's take it back a couple steps. The Nazi Germany part. Are you 100% on this one?
We can make it Germany that has Nazis in it.
If you're not comfortable with the phrase Nazi era Germany, we can say Germany in the Nazi era.
we can reshuffle those words. It's going to be fine. That's why it's an adaptive screenplay. Nah, I get it.
We got this.
I think my last tweet before I went to bed last night was literally just fuck the Oscars.
I want to see the point in the Oscars. The Oscars to me is basically a massive online review. Whereas it's people just going, this film was worthy of an award, that film was worthy of an award. And ultimately, it's just down to someone's opinion. And ultimately, opinions are just like massively variable things. So why should someone else's opinion be the final say in awarding something? Awarding a movie this big prestigious award. Ultimately, the Oscars lost all fucking credibility with me when they gave Suicide Squad an Oscar.
Yeah, for best makeup?
Yes, dude, you look like a Goomba. And I'm not talking a Goomba from the video games. I'm talking about a Goomba from the horrible late 80s, early 90s action movie with John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins.
I want to... When it comes to reviews, all I think of is, yeah, you're right, the Oscars are just basically the review summary of Hollywood movies by Hollywood. And I don't care for Hollywood's opinion on a lot of things. So when it comes to the idea, I mean, just reviews in general are not completely nonsense, but at the same time, go and find your favourite movie right now on something like an IMDb, something like just a general Rotten Tomatoes review site, something like that. Just go look at the 1-star reviews and the 5-star reviews and realise that your favourite film can have a 5 and 1-star review from different people.
Yeah. I mean, kind of similar to that when you realise there are people out there that reviewed, what film was it that came out that everyone just fucking loved, but it was probably one of the worst movies ever. Bohemian Rhapsody. That movie is bad.
Yes.
That movie is fucking really, really bad. That film got like 90 plus on Rotten Tomatoes. IMDb, it was like 8.5. Then there was virtually no 1-star reviews on that thing. Everyone was saying, this movie is fucking great. It tells Freddie Mercury's story like it is. then, every single other person just going, did you see the same movie? Did we see the same Bohemian Rhapsody? Because I did not see a 5-star movie.
Yeah, I maybe 3.5.
Yeah, if you're being very positive, 3.5. But
yeah, it's interesting because it happens a lot in the anime community. There's the Mal site, My Anime List, which I'm on, and I watch stuff and can use it as a catalogue of things I've reviewed. I actually talked to somebody recently who doesn't give them a review. He just uses it to chart what he watched. Just because he says, I don't think I really want to sit and grade everything I've ever watched, because I'm not thinking about it like that. I just want to know what I've watched. In case someone asks me, have you seen this? I now have like a certified digital record. And I was find that interesting. And actually right now, there's something going on with the anime community in a show called Interspecies Reviewers.
Okay.
It's a show. This guy said really bad. I have to try. Remember how I said I really enjoy Monster Musume?
Yeah,
for being
that movie, that show was a hard sell. In fact, no, that show isn't. The opposite of a hard sell. Explaining the plot just diminishes that.
Yeah, it's basically cock tease with weird monster girls for like 12 episodes, and I fucking love it. Imagine there is no cock tease. There is just a guy going around banging different monster girls and giving them reviews based on attributes like, oh, are they welcoming? Are they comforting? Are they interesting to talk to afterwards? Are they flighty? Are they friendly? Or are they just got great tits?
Were their tendrils comforting during it?
Yeah, I mean, episode 3.
Fucking hell.
Episode 3, they take gender flip potions and decide to get banged as girls in brothels. Just for fun, just so they can review from a female perspective. A guy gets literally multiple penetrated by a tentacle monster just to find out how it feels. Now, Funimation, our beloved anime dubbing company, decided to dub the show with English voice actors, but also to censor the show to make it suitable for viewing.
Jeez.
At several points in the gender flip episode, they just put up a title card, a blank screen that says, you can just enjoy this scene without the visuals, because they're just not going to censor it. There's too much work to be done.
So they just cut out they just put a massive overlay over it saying, like, here's a nice picture.
Yeah, just a blank card that just says with white text, we're not showing this.
Fucking hell.
Remember how I said that clips from Monster Musume appear uncensored on Pornhub? Whole episodes of Interspecies Reviewers are up on Pornhub right now. It is fucking hysterical. Because Funimation then said, look, we are not treating this show right. We are not treating our fans right. This show does not meet our standards. We are pulling the show from broadcast. We are taking it down. We won't be showing it anymore. We won't be dubbing it anymore. The fan reaction was, are you fucking kidding me? This show is amazing. It's funny when it's censored. It's funny when it's not censored. It's just fucking weird. It's well worth a watch if you get the chance and you're not going to, if you're not eating at the time. Watch a fucking episode because it's so ridiculous you wouldn't believe it.
Weirdest. I wouldn't even say I think that is the weirdest. That is definitely the weirdest review of a show you've ever given me. A really good show. Don't watch it when you're eating your dinner. That's just it's a bad idea.
You're gonna just have a sausage in your hand and think, ew.
Sitting there about to chow down a sausage roll, just nope.
Nah, I'm
Ain't
good.
that.
But the response to that from the community was generally just, what the fuck, fun? Like, just fucking show the show. We're all here. We all want a freak show. We've already got the lube out. Just fucking give us the show. And then at that point, a bunch of YouTubers decide, let's take the score, the review rating of this show and crank it up. We'll get all our subscribers, all our followers who are up for this as a joke to give it a 10-star rating, and we'll put it to the top of my anime list. The top of my anime list is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood at 9.22, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen screenshots of interspecies reviewers at 9.28, but I haven't verified any of them. I know for a fact they got second place. It took it, and you could just watch it. You'd go away from your screen like, I gave it my 10-star review. I did my part for the Republic of Weird Creepy Perverts. I did my part. And you would watch it.
Were you there on review day?
I was. I did my duty by my country, good sir. So everyone gives it a 10-star review, and you would just go away and it'd be like at 13th place. You go away and come back like an hour later, be at 5th place, and then 4th place, and then 3rd place.
Just
I get to
climbing.
2nd place, and everyone's like, are we actually going to do this thing? And then for some reason the momentum just dropped. I don't know if everyone just kind of went, okay, it's not funny anymore. But it got real fucking close, and I can't wait to see how this all turns out, because it's been such a shit post. The entire thing had just been an entire like fuck you to Funimation. Like, really, Funimation, you're going to drop the single greatest anime of all time as approved by my anime list.
This peer-reviewed study shows that it is in
Peer-reviewed study.
it's indeed the greatest anime of all time.
10,000 voters can't be wrong.
We surveyed a small group of.
I genuinely think that the average review is being dragged down by people saying, this isn't funny, guys. I'm giving it 1 star just to fuck with you.
So there's always some prick that's never in on the joke that says, it's not good, you guys, we need to stop this, it's not funny. Like, fuck you, go along with the joke.
There's a surprising number of people who are just not up for this joke at all, and I'm like, come on, guys, it's so fucking stupid.
These guys clearly do not appreciate good culture. They are not gentlemen of culture.
The meme of gentlemen of culture is just synonymous with that. Like, you'll watch the most horrific shit and be like, I truly am a cultured gentleman. I have sat through this oriental experience.
It's getting to the point where the fucking normies are using that as well.
Oh, it's so good.
I was in a Starbucks queue in Edinburgh in my uni, and I got my drink and they went, you have an iced tea. I see you're a gentleman of culture as well. It's like, this guy's wearing like top to toe very expensive clothes. I'm like, you're a normie, you don't watch fucking anime. Can you say that without like,
you're not a weeb. I know you're
can you say that without paying some kind of license fee to someone? Like, I used a meme, here's £25 to the anime community.
It's like, bro, I get it. You watched Attack on Titan and you saw one Reddit post. Calm yourself down.
You watched one episode of Dragon Ball Z when you were a kid. That does not qualify you as a Dragon Ball fan.
Oh, if we're going to just say, I feel like we need to segue away from weird monster porn. I'm going to just say what it is. It's porn. It really is porn.
Yeah. I mean, you may as well call a spade at that point.
And just say that Dragon Ball Kakarot, the Dragon Ball Z story game, it is a fighter game.
Action RPG, I think they call it. Action JRPG.
Is apparently one of the best-selling Dragon Ball Z games, with the exception of Fighterz.
Yeah.
It's something like 1.7 million units sold.
I want to get a copy for one reason and one reason only. They put in the filler episode where Goku and Piccolo get their driver's license.
Yes!
And you can race Piccolo.
Oh my god. Ladies and gentlemen, behold the first Gibberpish Podcast episode featuring entirely just footage of that.
We put this up on YouTube and it's just a loop of like that level. But as soon as I seen that, it was my brother, because he's doing a lot of sort of long shifts just now, so he gets like an hour and a half where he's breaking. He just scans through Twitter, so I get all this shit just direct feed to me.
Yeah.
And he messaged me saying, "Have you pre-ordered Kakarot?" I went, "No, not yet. I was just going to leave it, see how it is, because it kind of just looked like another Xenoverse to me." And I'm not a fan of those games.
I wasn't sold on it when he said, we're doing the story of Goku from the beginning. I'm like, because I saw it on TV, advertised on TV during a sports event. I'm like, dude, we can't have the jocks find out the Dragon Ball Z is still a thing.
Oh, dude, the jocks, no. Like, there's people that play for the NFL, people that play professional American football that are walking out with Goku Under Armour and shit.
There are some guys who actually do like full Dragon Ball Z like poses as victory celebrations, and I'm like, nerd.
You just look at Xavier Woods, and any time he does anything for the WWE, he's got some kind of Dragon Ball shit on. But so he sent me the message saying, if you weren't considering getting Kakarot, you probably will now. And he sent me the gif of Goku and Piccolo in those weird hover cars just slamming into each other, and it had like the game HUD over it, and I was like, I'm going to buy it. Like, it's an immediate, I'm buying this.
I'm buying this one. So I was quite happy with that though, because it's good to see Dragon Ball make a comeback, and it's old school Dragon Ball Z the way we all remember it. There's no weird stuff about the super, like the content there. Or anything like that. The super Dragon Balls and God powers.
I was actually thinking about this recently. I fucking love Dragon Ball Z, but see the super stuff, I think if it were to say this is not canon or this is just a little sideshoot stuff, I think I'd be okay with it. Super's good, and I had a lot of fun with it.
It's good. I want to see more of it just to see how it ends up. But if you tell me,
would you be annoyed if it didn't happen?
No.
Yeah,
but I'm quite good at saying you can have good stuff followed by bad stuff, and you can just say the bad stuff, I consider my end point to be X, and for me it is going to be episode like 296 at the end of the Boo saga.
Yeah, when they just have the party.
Nope, before that. You don't need that party. There's a perfectly good ending like 2 episodes before, and for some reason they tack on and like a party.
They kept it going because I think the original run of Dragon Ball Z, they were preparing for GT, so they tried to set up extra shit where it's Oob shows up and then Goku changes gi to signify that we're doing another one.
Oh yeah, that's what it is actually. The like 296 is a party at the end.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 more episodes
Because
after
Goku
that.
shows up late or some shit like that because he was saving an egg.
Yeah, for some, I think it was just a throwback to old Dragon Ball.
Yeah, just to show that Goku's still a kind heart. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Speaking of the end of Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
yeah,
I think we
very,
should
very good segue. Like, props on that one. It was a good segue.
I forced these things to happen to come hell or high water. We watched this morning. We just sent text back forward, and I just saw the thumbnail pop up saying that Team 4 Star will now no longer be producing any more Dragon Ball Z Abridged content. They are done with they're done with the franchise. They want to do something new. They discovered this really when they tried to make a BoJack movie based on one of the offshoot movies and just could not make it work.
Yeah, I think it was Lani Pator that said that this was killing their passion for Dragon Ball, which if you create a YouTube channel with the specific reason of doing Dragon Ball based content and you have run that channel for 11 years.
Yeah, they're all 11 years at this point.
And one thing manages to ruin that for you, I think it's time to stop doing or trying to force that one thing.
And they've been very smart in saying that it may not technically be this one thing, but this one thing is a big indicator of other problems.
Yeah.
And that is that they are burnt out after doing the same project for 11 years.
Yeah.
And it's a shame to watch it, but if you put it in the context of Lani Pator's fucking epic dig at Scrubs, it makes a lot of sense, where he says, if you watch the last season of Scrubs, it is the most universally hated series of television ever made, and it's from one of the most beloved franchises of TV ever made.
Yeah.
And there is no way in hell I'm doing that. I'm doing one more season as a cash grab to ruin something like DBZ Abridged.
Yeah.
Even if it was going to be in a new format.
And I don't think there's any fan out there that was going to say, oh, you guys are fucking, you're bailing out, you're cowards, why he's not continuing the show. I don't think there's any fan that would look at their situation and think, yeah, they're bailing out. I think most people would understand that creative burnout is a thing, and when you've been doing something very, very singularly for a while, that has been a core focus of Team 4 Star for such a long time. Because I've done other things that aren't really as involved. Final Fantasy VII Machine Abridged is probably the most labour-intensive thing after that. The shorts don't take much because they're not really developed by the guys in-house.
Yes.
That's all animated by people out with. So
it's an animated thing, and their offshoots, their Team 4 Star gaming stuff, it is a fun live stream, but it is another gaming live stream. It's so easy, I can literally do it. I mean, you can just have an easy setup, and if you're guys who are that experienced in web production as they are miles ahead of most other people as far as production and polish, and they say, we will not be able to bring that production and polish to the Boo Saga. We're just going to call it there. And if you watch the ending of part 60, episode 60, part 3 or whatever it is, that is a fan, like when they describe it as saying this is our love letter to Akira Toriyama and Dragon Ball, that works. Yeah, it really does work.
That ending is the sort of perfect cap on it, because it ends where I think the show should have ended, really, with Goku saying, right, I had my story, I'm leaving it to you, and then see it for then.
And there's all these theories as well that the Dragon Ball Z original show should have ended after Frieza, and then should have ended after Cell. Yeah, and
I don't even
think hero afterwards was a tagged on thing.
I don't even think that was a theory. That was Akira Toriyama saying he didn't really want to do much after. He wanted to do Frieza. Frieza was meant to be the last villain, but it was meant to end with Goku going Super Saiyan 1, and that was meant to be the big mythical final transformation. Goku's reached his peak, but then I think the publishers of, would it be Toei? No, Toei is the animation studio. Whoever was publishing the Dragon... Shonen Jump. Right. If I remember right, they said, this is really popular, could you do another one? And they said, okay, I could maybe crank out another one. Then you get the androids, and you get Cell.
Which is weird, because those are probably the most iconic part of the franchise. If you don't...
Oh, dude, the Cell saga, hands down, is the best saga of Dragon Ball Z.
If you've ever seen the show, you will have seen the Frieza saga. You will have seen the 50-episode battle on fucking Namek, where the planet's going to explode in 5 minutes, but will also last for 6 episodes in Dragon Ball Z.
I mean, Dragon Ball Z time is a totally different record of time, because Goku gets brought back for 24 hours, and that's 18 episodes.
But at the same time, those 18 episodes are like half a day on Namek. None of it makes any sense, kids. You're just along for the ride.
Yeah, just along for cool energy battles and spiky hairdos.
This is the shit.
Yeah, it's awesome. So the universal love for Dragon Ball is kind of keeping that alive would be, in my mind, is way more important than trying to, force something.
But I do think that if we're going to talk about does Super deserve to exist, you need more content. We can't just keep milking Z, and because the thing is, it's only Z that gets milked like this. I've never seen.
Yeah, Dragon Ball was
the original Dragon Ball doesn't get games, doesn't get any more movies, any more projects done. Super is the continuation of the franchise. Yeah. If that means they're doing it for the love or for the money, it's it is whatever it is. I
mean, I say that I could do without it in the sense that I'm glad that it's here. Don't get me wrong. I fucking loved Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT left such a bad taste in my mouth that I was just thinking, is this how we're going to end? Is this going to be the full stop on the end of the Dragon Ball saga? And then when Super came along, I was like, okay, this is actually good. There's a bit of rough animation in there, but they polished it out by the time it got to us.
Yeah.
Vegeta's weird, like, twist round hand thing, they got rid of that. That was fucking weird. It was like...
Goku's, like, 3-line face or whatever it was.
Yeah, at one point he had one eye and some kind of weird L for a nose. It was like, someone phoned the fucking... someone phoned this one in.
Admittedly, you should never pause animation and judge it on the bits between major keyframes. But holy crap, there were some interesting images in there. There's some horrific nightmares in there, but at the same time, it's worth a look.
It would be cool to see. What I really want to see is maybe not DLC for Kakarot, but maybe some kind of super involvement. Maybe, I think it probably would be DLC is the only way they could do it. Or maybe a sequel where it's just, right, Z happened, let's do Dragon Ball Super Kakarot. See what that happens then. Because I think I would like to do a segment of a game where you just fight in the Tournament of Power.
Yeah.
Like do the kind of massive tiers, or maybe just... Like you do kind of segments of the game where like you do the fight with Gohan and Piccolo against the Earth Universe 8 or 7, no, Universe 6 Namekians, where they basically just fused with an entire planet, so they have the power of about 1 billion Namekians and 2 people.
Yeah, and I think that's the interesting part for me is if we don't have any more new content being made through the manga, through the anime, we just have nothing else to go back on. I mean, there's the Heroes game that exists in its own little parallel universe, but that's is just... It's a cash grab.
It is a cash grab.
It's a definitive cash grab.
It's basically... You remember when you were younger talking about Dragon Ball Z and you knew about characters like Broly and you knew about characters like...
Also, Super fixed Broly. That's how we need Super just for that alone.
Yeah, true. I mean, like, just as a kind of point of clarification, I'm not saying that Super shouldn't exist. I'm just saying if it didn't exist, I think I'd be okay with it. Like, I'm happy for them to put more content out there, but if Super didn't exist, I'd be okay. We had a Dragon Ball Z was good.
We do remember though that we existed for a long while without after Z ended. Yeah, there was a good 10, 15. I think Battle of the Gods was 15 years after the end of the original, and then we were fine for those 15 years. But I still think of the joy we had when we're like, dude, there's new Dragon Ball stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
That was a moment of like texting each other like, dude,
the resurrection.
Goku's going to be a thing again.
Goku's getting Super Saiyan God powers. What the fuck is that?
What does this mean? What does it mean? You know, and now he's going to be at the Olympics this year.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Cool.
He will be at the Olympics because he is a hero that gains power through training.
Yeah.
If you ever want to teach kids about the importance of training for sports, martial arts, or whatever, not a bad character.
Yeah, Goku's pretty much the way to go.
I mean, if you want to teach him about parenting, he's a horrific character.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you want to teach him about just learning how to throw a good punch, few who done it better. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, that's true.
This time you do the segue.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I had another point to talk about, but we need to put in something to fill in all this dead air while I remember about something to talk about. I suppose I can use this point to segue into talking about Dragon Ball Fighterz.
Here comes a new challenger. Speaking of Dragon Ball games that actually sell copies.
Yeah, and it's been selling a shit ton more copies because of the characters that they just announced. They announced 2 Dragon Ball Super characters.
Right.
One being another Goku.
Guys, we love Goku. We just talked about how much we love Goku for like 5 minutes.
You can't hate Goku. He's a bit thick. He might be mentally handicapped.
He did land on his head as a kid.
Several times.
At the same time, you cannot keep selling as Goku again and again.
But this time it's Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku and he can dodge attacks. I don't know how many times he can dodge attacks.
Okay,
but
now you have my attention.
Yeah, but I think they're working in some kind of mechanic with Ultra Instinct Goku that he can just dodge certain moves. I think he'll probably have to tie in his meter use.
Yeah.
But it'll be cool to see how that goes. And in general, the idea that Goku now has the power level of an actual god, not a Saiyan equivalent of a god, but an actual, in the pantheon of gods, god.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It should be pretty game-breaking, but at the same time, Ultra Instinct hurts him so fucking bad in the anime and in the manga. It really does take everything out of him.
Yeah, that was also another mechanic that people were talking about because if you haven't watched Dragon Ball Super quite frankly, why are you listening? No, all are welcome, but in the Dragon Ball Super anime, spoilers, Goku finally achieves this form of the gods that even the destructor gods, the gods of destruction themselves, struggle to attain. It's kind of this is how angels like Whis just are. They're in a constant state of ultra instinct. Goku finally achieves this. He fights Jiren, but the heel of Goku is that he's too lenient.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's fighting Jiren, he's about to deliver the death blow, we think, because he charges up something that kind of looks like he's about to give him some energy.
Mm-hmm.
Fire off a pearl of energy at him. And then his whole back just kind of erupts with blood. And then he gets this weird kind of dark energy pouring off him because he's basically forced this god energy into his body. And he's a human, so it just kind of erupts in him.
Mm.
And seeing that shit was pretty cool. So how we'll play in the game might have some kind of mechanic like that.
Yeah.
Like, so maybe if you use a certain attack, your power goes through the roof, but your health just slowly drains away.
I think it would be a case of you're now going to be on a superior level where everything you hit is going to rupture and just burst and you're going to take massive damage, but you yourself will take a constant drip of damage.
Yeah.
And who's the other character?
And the other character is a much requested character, even since the second Fighterz Pass, and that was Kefla, the fusion of the two female Saiyans from
right, yeah.
Universe 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kale and Caulifla.
Yes.
I think Caulifla is the female Broly, or the female Berserker Saiyan.
They're never, like, they're obviously...
No, Kale is the female.
There's little hints that these are, like, kind of based on the idea of, what if there was a female Broly, but they're never actually identified as that. Like, there's a benevolent Frieza, but he's not an actual Frieza. He's of the Frieza race.
Yeah, it's just called in the canon Frieza's race because they haven't come up with a proper name for it yet.
And also, when your race is the Galactic Emperor, you kind of just get called the Galactic Emperor's name.
Yeah, I'm part of Frieza's crew. Don't fuck with me.
Part of Frieza's race. What about it?
What are you going to do about it?
So yeah, they've put in the fusion character between those two.
Yeah, and it just looks like one of those characters where they just have way too much fun with it. Let's make this ridiculously fast character and let's see how people can deal with it. Like all of our super moves just cover whole screens.
Oh.
Like there's a move that she uses in Dragon Ball Super against not just like sort of base level Ultra Instinct Goku before he masters it completely. So he's just got the black hair instead of the weird silver do.
He does it once by accident.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, wait, what did you do? And he's like, wait, what did I do?
And the second time he's like, I'm going to die. Wait, no, hold on. I got it. Toriyama hand job.
Zenkai boost.
Toriyama hand job.
Same thing.
Like, there's no difference in these pictures. It's like the office picture. The office picture means like
corporate wants you to tell the difference between these two pictures. There's no difference.
There's the exact same picture. But yeah, and then he fights the fusion of Kale and Caulifla Kefla, and she basically starts pouring out all this energy, and she starts shooting off this kind of red death beam thing.
Yeah, and
she just starts firing these kind of big 3 lasers across the screen. She does that, and if she does it in the middle of the screen in the game, she's hitting everyone. Like she's hitting any character, no matter where they are on the fucking screen. It is insane. But I'm quite glad to see that at least one of my favourite fighting games from the past decade is adding in more female characters. Because we had Videl in the last season pass, we had Android 21, Android 18, and now we're getting Kefla. So at least they're actually saying, like, we're not shying away from female characters, we're going to add them in.
We just have like 20 more copies of Goku.
Yeah, we're just going to add in a few more Gokus. Like, because I think at this point there's been a Goku in every single DLC pass that I've bought. In DLC 1, it was base level Goku, which I don't want a fucking base level Goku.
I'm fighting gods. I don't need that.
I have Super Saiyan Blue Goku, I have Vegito, I have Gogeta.
Yeah.
That's like 3 god level Gokus there. I don't need a base level Goku.
Yeah.
And then in Fighterz Pass 2, there was GT Goku, and it's like, okay, that's base level GT Goku. I want none of this shit.
Is he the kid?
Yeah.
Oh.
Turns out, one of the best characters in the game.
I don't know how I feel about that. I'll be entirely honest with you.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all because he's another Yoda character.
Ah, right.
You remember Soul Calibur 4, how they added in the Star Wars characters?
Vaguely, yes.
Yoda was ridiculously hard to fight because he was so small.
Yeah.
That all your heavy sword characters would literally swing over his head. You could not hit him if you used certain characters. And that's what GT Goku's like. He's so quick and so small, he just kind of pass under most shit.
Mm. If you balance it right, it's fine. But if you just if you've got to kind of lean into the character a certain amount to allow it to happen. But
the balancing thing is that he can't take no damage. He's got very little health because you're a child.
Yeah. You're a child. I will just punch you.
Yeah.
We'll go down.
Fair enough, you can transform into Super Saiyan 4 Goku, but you need to kill your two other characters to do that.
Yeah.
Because he had a cool mechanic where if you lose one character when he did his like Kamehameha, he would turn Super Saiyan 3.
Mm-hmm.
Then if you lost another character and it was just GT Goku left during his level 3 attack, he would turn Super Saiyan 4, which was pretty cool, but I don't like characters where you have to eliminate your two other backup characters to make him viable in the game.
Well, surely you just send them first.
Yeah, but and when I was using him, I had two other characters that I was good with. So I thought, right, I'm not going to sacrifice Bardock and
I want to play with
adult
this.
Gohan to get to make GT Goku viable. Hence why he got benched. I'm not doing this.
But speaking of fighting games, I saw you and Argot having a talk about the games that were going to be up on the Evo stage this year. And Evo's a weird one because it's a fighting game tournament that draws in millions of viewers.
Yeah, the Evo tournament is something that I've tuned into as much as I can. If I can't watch it live, which is most years because it's in America and it starts at 6 o'clock.
Do you mean you're not willing to stay up till 3 in the morning, sir?
I can't do. I can stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning. I get to 10, I'm like, I'm sleepy. I'm tired. I'm tuckered out.
That's what drinking is for.
I haven't drank in a while.
Yeah.
Although I did drink during the Scotland Ireland game because I needed that.
Yeah. We'll get back to rugby in a minute. Don't
Yeah,
you
we
worry,
will.
kids.
We'll get back
Don't
to
you
that.
fucking worry.
But yeah, the Evo main stage is always just a stage that will show the absolute cream of the crop in terms of people competing in those games. Because you've always got a Smash Bros mainstay, and this year I'm happy to say they've seen sense and they've brought Smash Bros Ultimate back. They're not bringing Melee back because they want to display it in 1080p high definition so that people at home can see it instead of on a tiny little CRT screen where people are going, oh, who's he playing as? It could be Mario or it could be Kirby. I can't fucking tell the screen.
Oh, that's just a smudge on the screen. Never mind.
Oh no, he's white chocolate on that. Ah, fuck.
God damn it.
God damn it, smelly fucking Smash fans just wiping shit all over the screen.
And you also need to know, if this is like a live stage event, you do need to project that up onto like a 50-foot monitor or 50-foot screen.
Yeah, and in general, I think just how many games or how many copies of Smash Ultimate were sold kind of guarantees it's got a place on the Evo main stage moment. There's Melee, because Melee sold well. Melee was a fucking huge game when it first came out in the GameCube, but it sold units. Mm-hmm. But Smash Bros Ultimate has become the quickest selling fighting game of all time, even overtaking Street Fighter 2.
Damn.
Which is a feat in of itself.
Yeah, that's a big legacy.
Yeah, and with the characters that they're putting out, people are just going, yeah, this is great. So yeah, I understand that Smash Bros Ultimate is there. They've got Dragon Ball Fighterz there. Yeah. That's where the announcement about Ultra Instinct Goku and Kefla was made. Tekken 7 is back. They've got Soul Calibur 6. They've got a game that I have no idea where it came from called Under Night in Birth. It's an anime fighter made by Arc System Works, the guys that make Guilty Gear and Dragon Ball.
Huh. I've never heard of that either.
I mean, neither. It popped up. I was like, what the fuck are you? Why are you playing with the big boys? Who's let you into the big boy pen?
Whose man is this?
Like, who left this child here?
Who's left this special child here?
Just like the main character is some kind of weird blonde kid with an oversized katana. I'm like, that could be anybody.
That could be me. I don't know anymore.
That could be a Persona character that just wandered into the wrong game. And the game that is genuinely annoying me because I personally think it's one of the worst games of all time. Fight me tooth and nail on this. I promise I will respect your opinion, but you're wrong. It's Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
I think you've explained enough about that to me. I think it was in private you explained most of this. But the way you've described this game as being basically broken in a very fundamental way.
It's broken, and yeah, exactly, to a T. It is broken in a very fundamental way, but people love it because you can control the chaos. You can experiment, you can manipulate the chaos. I'm like, that's just a bad game. Like, that's just a broken game. And I don't like the way it looks either, because the character sprites are always something that I look to in a game as being, of really good quality.
Yeah.
Especially if you play a lot of fighting games. Street Fighter 3 Third Strike has some of the best sprite work of all time. Mm-hmm. Because even on the Dreamcast, they could do it in such a way where not the character would move, and as he punches, you can see the ripple going down his back, down the back of his karate gi.
Oh, right.
As he's moving, you see the clothes moving as well. Street Fighter 3 Third Strike came out before Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and it looks better than it.
Jeez.
Every subsequent port of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 have used the exact same sprites, and they are starting to look fucking horrible. So you've got Street Fighter Alpha 2 Akuma, who is a very tiny sprite next to X-Men Children of the Atom Cyclops, who's fucking huge. Like Cyclops is meant to be 6'1", Akuma's meant to be the 7-foot beast. They're just there's disparity between the sprite sizes.
So basically, it sounds like it was. I've been trying to figure out why it sounds like it's a broken game. And
the game itself is riddled with infinite combos. If you play a character called Servbot, which is from a Mega Man game, you're that small you can't be hit, and you can just keep spamming 3 moves, and you just lock them into this combo. And if you play Magneto, Sentinel, and Psylocke, you're pretty much unbeatable because they all have infinites, and they're all I might be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure all 3 of the infinites are tournament safe, so they're pretty much allowed in tournaments. And there's so many like little broken aspects that players can exploit in between each character, and I get most people who are listening to this that like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 are probably just thinking, well, get better at the game. I don't want to get better at the game. Like I don't like Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I think they've done it better. And even the one that came before that, Marvel vs. Capcom 1, infinitely better game, smaller roster. And I think that's maybe where the problems with Marvel vs. Capcom 2 lie, because they went from a roster of I think maybe 24 characters in the first game to a roster of about 58 in the second game. And they literally just went, let's bring in all these Street Fighter characters from other games. Let's bring in all these other X-Men characters. Let's bring in fucking
Mega Man characters.
Thor. Let's bring in other Mega Man characters. Like, who the fuck's a Servbot? Bring them in anyway. We'll program them.
And just there's no way you would know this off the top of your head, but development time on that game?
Oh, it came out quick. It came out really quick.
Because that was my issue, was it sounds rushed. It sounds like there wasn't time to balance things, especially if you've got a larger roster than you're used to.
MVC 1 came out very early into the Dreamcast cycle. Because I remember it being one of the first Dreamcast games that I actually bought. And then not too long after that, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 came out. I want to say it's celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. So I think MVC 2, probably the very early 2000s. Because I think MVC 1 was 1998.
Right.
I'm pretty positive, maybe 97, 98. So then you've got 2 years in between those two.
And this isn't like peak era Capcom, is it?
This is Cap God era. This is Capcom where they could do no wrong.
Right.
And to me, MVC 2 was the first misstep, because those games that you had at that time, you had Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, you had Dino Crisis, you had Power Stone, you had Dino Crisis 2, you had all these fucking big hitting games. Then you've got MVC 2. It's like, dude, you were doing so fucking well, and you had really good shit planned in the future. I mean, from MVC 2, Capcom then go on to make just a fucking slew of killer games. Like Street Fighter 4, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 5, fucking a shit ton of weird obscure Mega Man titles that no one but me will fucking recognise. And yeah, MVC 2 just signified a real big misstep. And it kind of got me thinking why they put it in the game. The obvious reason is it's a popular game. I can't stand it, but a lot of people love it. A lot of people, this is their sort of childhood. This is what they saved up money to buy, or this is what they saved up their quarters. 25 cents, that's a quarter in America?
Yeah.
They saved up the quarters to go to the local arcade and play match after match of MVC2. This is a big thing for them. So this is why I was kind of thinking, I don't want it to be there, but I'm one person against thousands, millions at this point, of people that want to see this game.
And also it's a Dreamcast game, and the people who are Dreamcast fans are so fanatical, because in the first great console war, those guys took it in the ass. Let's be honest.
Dreamcast fans, we got shafted. We got fucked up.
You guys went up against the PlayStation 1.
Yeah, we did not do well on that one.
You were like pre-steroids Captain America.
Yeah, going
versus
up against
Mike Tyson.
going up against Thanos.
Just getting wailed on for like decades.
Yeah, it was not. But that's the thing. On a technical level, the Dreamcast was the infinitely more powerful console, which just proves to me that it is nowhere. It's nothing to do with hardware. It's all to do with catalog. If you've got good games, that's going to sell the console. Which is why PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 have always sold fucking great. Whereas,
catalog and price.
Yeah, definitely. I remember the Dreamcast being way too expensive.
Was in dollars, $3.99.
Yeah.
So before you came, I was watching a video about Shenmue. Because I've been watching people.
Oh, I bought Shenmue. How the fuck can people play that game? It is unplayable.
Well, if you think that's bad, people love Shenmue 1.
Yeah.
People are now lining up to dunk on Shenmue 3. It is savage. It is cold on these streets for Shenmue 3. I'm not even gonna. It is horrific to watch people who say, I've been a lifelong fan. I sold my third child to pay for the game. I've put in the Kickstarter. I've put in 10 grand. I am owed a personal apology. Here's how I think about Shenmue, and it will just be page after page after page.
No, vitriol.
Just hate speech almost. It borderlines on hate speech when it comes to the Shenmue franchise. But I was watching somebody explain that Sega was on a tear by going up and saying, Nintendo are a bunch of pussies, they make games for children, we're the game company for badasses. And they just rampaged for years against Nintendo. Mostly in America, and in Japan it was kind of 50-50. But then, out of nowhere...
Yeah, Sega kind of went on this whole... even with the Genesis, they were like, Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
Yeah, the Nintendo don't campaign was
and then,
a huge win for them.
But by the time it came to the UK, we were like, okay, Genesis doesn't really work because it's biblical. Can we call it something else? Like, yeah, sure, we'll call it the Mega Drive. Like, well, that kind of fucks up our slogan campaign, so fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it.
We're not going to go to war with Nintendo in the EU.
But the win there was that Sega, it was like an E3, Sega came out and said, we're going to sell the console for $3.99, and then a Sony executive walks up a week later and says, we'll sell you the PlayStation 1 for $2.99. Bombs dropped, that's it, game over, go home, pack up your shit and go, fuck off, Sega.
We got them, boys, we got them.
Mission accomplished, we won.
Mission accomplished, just light the cigar, but
eagle noises.
Flag appears out of nowhere, some guy's just waving it. But that's the thing, the Dreamcast dropped so quickly in price, it was scary. Because I remember it being about £250-300, and you were getting the usual Sonic Adventure 1, Space Channel 5, and Sega Bass Fishing for $300.
Damn.
Then you were getting that for $250.
Sega Bass Fishing, yes, kids, fishing games are real.
Fishing games, tennis games, rally games, Sega made them all.
Yeah.
But then it just kind of went slowly down to the point where I got my Dreamcast a year later for $100. I'm pretty sure it might have actually been 99 quid.
Shit.
It dropped quickly. It was like the PlayStation Classic. Mm-hmm. That started off at, I think it was 150, now it's like 100. I'm pretty sure it's settled at 50 quid now, because no one fucking wants them.
As in the micro console?
Yeah, the micro console, yeah. PlayStation.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, the Legacy Classic, yeah. People are buying it just because the internals or something, they're buying it for one specific game that wasn't re-released or something. Or they wanted an original PlayStation 1 version of Final Fantasy 7.
Oh,
and then they bought it and played it. It's like, this doesn't really work all that great. I'm just going to emulate it.
This is not as good as I remember. Yeah.
It was even more of a slap to the face to Sony, is that someone took the software from the PlayStation Classic and ran it through a Nintendo Entertainment System Classic, and it ran better.
Yeah, I remember that
and then
one.
Sony just went, well, fuck you guys. Why are you breaking my stuff?
It's because you broke it first, bitch. We're breaking,
fuck you.
We're breaking it again to fix it. It's like breaking someone's leg to reset it.
Yeah. Maybe that's why Sony have just went, fine, fuck it, you're getting Final Fantasy 7 Remake.
I think they're getting that one because it will print money.
Yeah, it's not like they need money.
I don't know.
Sony have been doing pretty okay. Like, despite the fact that they're not going to E3 in some kind of hipster protest.
They're not doing it again this year.
Yeah, I think that's fucking retarded. It is stupid.
It's working though. Because that's
to an extent.
They come out a week before, they spend a tenth of the price compared to what...
They used to do it all in-house from what I know.
Do it all in-house, make some videos, send them out, fans going wild. The fans can't really attend E3 anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you get to fly to LA, attend a convention in LA, surrounded by press, all running to get the next exclusive. You can enjoy E3 more from the comfort of your own home than you can in LA. I
think that's what... See, Nintendo still have a presence at E3, but they still do their main big press presentation from Nintendo. They do their Treehouse Live.
Yeah.
Like, they've not done a big present...
They've not
press
flown out
conference.
the presidents and stuff like that to address the public and stuff.
Then again, Doug Bowser might be doing that this year. Maybe that's his change. But Reggie, when he was head of Nintendo America, he just said, no, we'll put the products out there on the floor for people to play, but why don't you just do it all here?
But that's that typical kind of oddball Nintendo mentality of, which are the products that they're talking?
Yeah,
we need to really say much.
Then they drop shit like Panzer Dragoon and Smash Bros. Ultimate, and people go, yeah, Nintendo made the right call. But that's the thing, Sony aren't really announcing much that's getting people excited, because they announced Ghosts of Tsushima. Then people are going, it looks cool, but you need to tell me more about it.
But that's the thing, is they're about to go into the next generation of the console war.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that doesn't make sense, is not appearing last year, that's fine, you didn't really have that much.
Yeah.
But this year, we'd hope to see, like, maybe
an
not
actual
a finished
PS5.
product, but, like, we'd hope to see a really good trailer video for, like, by the way, this Christmas, here it's coming.
Yeah, PlayStation 5.
Maybe a working demo or two, just so people can get their hands on it. Because we know the demo kits, the spec kits are out there.
Yeah. It's kind of getting to the point where I'm not sure. There's certain games coming out for the PlayStation that I'm not sure if I want to buy now or just wait till I get a PS5. Because The Last of Us 2 is going to be good on PS4. That's going on PS5.
Yeah.
Naughty Dog and Sony working together print fucking money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same with the Uncharted games. I guarantee the Uncharted games are going to get ported over again to PS5. Same with Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. I think I need to see the PS5 as well because the Xbox Series X, which is just a stupid name, they need to tighten up that name.
Their naming convention just went out the window. Like Xbox 360 to Xbox One. Okay, I guess we're resetting the franchise to make it into like Xbox 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Nah, just Xbox One and then proceed with a random letter.
This is not Xbox Series X.
It's the Xbox One family. Who the fuck is naming it this?
Sort your shit out, mate.
Bro, your family's inbred. What the fuck? You guys need help.
Yeah. My point there was going to be that I don't like the look of the Xbox Series X. It's going to be a good console.
Yes.
But it looks like one of those little air freshener things that your mum leaves in the hallway. They just spritzes you whenever you walk past it.
I can get that a lot of people are just freaked out by why are they making consoles tall. Like,
yeah.
It can also go on its side. I know I've heard that. And the Xbox design means you wouldn't really notice it that much.
Mm.
It is a bit of an odd choice, but at the same time, I'm now looking at it saying, I mean, I've got a gaming PC, I might just stick with that.
Yeah.
Or just proceed to upgrade that gaming PC because Microsoft last year in 2019 put in a lot of effort into saying we will now have transfer, or we will now be supporting our PC game as much as we will develop the Xbox console side of things.
Yeah. You can get to the point where they're doing that, the Ultimate Game Pass, where you can just play both. Like if you've got a game on Xbox, yeah. I've got that. That's
only like £5 more than the regular Xbox.
Yeah, and
it includes your Xbox Live.
Yeah, and you were getting a deal on it, a really, really good deal on it.
Yeah. The E3 conference made it an absolute fucking steal. And one thing I find interesting is that they made statements this week saying we now no longer look at Nintendo and Sony as competitors. We're now looking at Amazon and Google.
Yeah. Which
means they're looking more into digital streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Which means they are working on that with the Xbox One cloud gaming.
Yeah.
Which is where you can game through your phone if you attach an Xbox controller to it.
Mm.
Good fucking luck with that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't think cloud gaming and consoles like Stadia are ever going to work until people get the internet speeds and the internet capabilities to support it. Stadia is
Stadia launched, and no one cares.
No one cares.
The biggest gaming revolution of all time. No one gives a shit.
Flat on its face. No one gives a shit.
The ground so hard it's still bouncing.
It bounced back up. It's coming down. It's at terminal velocity, burning up on re-entry.
Oh yeah, that's how hard it hit the ground and bounced. It went back up and is now returning to the atmosphere in terminal velocity.
So bad. People were getting it for free because Alana Pierce through her work and stuff. She was probably on the radar as someone that was going to get a copy of the Google Stadia to play, and she said it's good at what it does, but you need to have insanely high internet to do it. You need to have no downloads going on, nothing, not even something receiving internet. Turn the internet on your phone off. Yeah. Just let it take all the bandwidth.
The IT guy at my work was so set on it being a fucking masterpiece. Like, did you read the specs? 4K gaming, 60 frames a second over an internet connection. It's never going to work.
Nah, a wired connection.
They've got it. They're Google. How could it possibly go wrong? It went fucking horribly wrong.
It smacked them right in the face.
Do you see the delay on some of them? They were playing. There's a guy playing Destiny on a laptop.
Oh shit! Yeah.
And he hit space to jump, and it was like 1, 2, jump.
Fucking hell. I did actually notice that. Like, it was only now that I've realised that when they upscale a game, there tends to be a bit of delay in button inputs.
Yeah.
Like, so if you go from there's an HD upscale. If on the Uncharted collection, the Nathan Drake collection for PlayStation 4, I'm playing through Uncharted 2 right now. And I was noticing that whenever I was hitting the trigger button to shoot, it was like a good 3 seconds before I was actually shooting. I was like, this is annoying. I play fighting games. This isn't good. If I do a Hadouken, I need a Hadouken.
It is bad.
But it was like Nathan Drake was sitting there with a gun out. I'd pull the L2 trigger and it'd be.
Well, that is one of the many, many things that drove you from Mortal Kombat, is that the fact that you wouldn't have direct button input. And it was just that little half second takes you out of the game.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make that much difference to most gamers, but then when you get into a point where you really just want to be in the moment, that delay will totally set you off. Yeah.
And quite glad they said Mortal Kombat. I think subconsciously you were trying to bring us back to evil. But but no,
little bit.
MVC2 is a game where I can understand why it's there, and I'm happy for the people that like MVC2. I'm not going to watch it unless they announce a Marvel vs. Capcom Legacy Collection or something for PlayStation 4, Xbox One and Switch, because I'll buy that just to play Marvel vs. Capcom 1 again, because that game's a fucking masterpiece. Even MVC3 that came out in the 360, I'll fucking gladly buy another copy of that. That game is insane. 2 and Infinite can just go and screech in the corner. I don't give a fuck about those games. That's the only way I'd be watching anything to do MVC2 at EVO. But a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, were complaining about the fact that Mortal Kombat 11 was not announced at EVO. And I've got a pretty easy answer for you. The games that are at EVO are good games.
Oh, shit.
I'm throwing shade at Mortal Kombat.
Shots fired.
Shots fired. Oh, duck. More shots fired. It's Mortal Kombat 11 is just not a good game. Like I don't get why people are so confused about this. EVO is a chance to show the best games out there and the people who are competing in those games and what they've done using the technology that's available to them. Mortal Kombat 11 is so bland a game that I don't blame EVO for dropping it, because if you at a stage like EVO, you're used to things like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which is, you know, Iron Man firing a big shoulder cannon, big massive beam shooting across the stage, Spider-Man doing some kind of like maximum spider and just diving all over the stage. You've got Dragon Ball Fighters, which is like big, like it's hype. Yeah. Like you need hype.
You're there for the biggest, flashiest fighting event of the year.
Even Tekken 7. Tekken 7 is another game where it's all about kind of spacing and zoning out your characters, or what they call footsies, where you're kind of stepping in, you're doing a jab and you're pulling back. Yeah. You're kind of testing the water. That game gets a pass because there's more hype built into that. The music and when you actually do land a blow and start building up that combo, that ramps up the hype.
Also, it's Tekken.
Tekken, yeah. You can't fucking go wrong with that. They haven't changed the formula in years. Like, whereas Street Fighter need to do innovations to keep shit going and keep things changing, and it's worked for them so far. Tekken have just went, no, we're just going to keep doing the same thing. People like it. Why break it?
We'll continue to just polish this to a mirror sheen. And
we'll give you super moves.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. But Mortal Kombat has no flash. There's no. I mean, you've got the fatalities, which they can't really show through Twitch streaming anymore, because what's there was a bill or something like protect. You're not allowed to show ultra gory images or something on. There's
probably
online.
something to do with that. Yeah. I think it was California. I can't remember the exact.
Probably.
bill.
I know there was some kind of act passed, but yeah, you can't really show ultra violent images on there. So you don't really show the. You can't really show the brutalities and the fatalities, which I'm pretty sure might not be tournament legal anyway.
Huh, why would you take out a core component of the game?
Because if you use a brutality, it can take up a chunk of the game and just wind the time down.
Right.
So if you're at low health and they've got a lot more health, you can wind them down to a point where they might have less health than
like
you.
Brutality is that okay? That makes sense when you're talking about the time factor being an issue in a fighting game. But taking away fatalities,
that's kind of the icing on the cake. Why are we here?
Like, you know.
But and that and just talking about the combat system itself, there's no. Some characters have big flashy moves, but ultimately it's just you'll do a move and it's just punch. Like there's no, there's no kind of flash about it. There's no hype to it. So I can completely understand why they omitted Mortal Kombat, because quite frankly, it's just not a good game. Like in my opinion, your mileage may vary. No matter how fun the Joker is, it's still not going to make you play the game, despite the fact that they've made an effort to make him look like Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes, and they give him the bray from Jack Nicholson's performance.
Yeah.
So I saw that, I was like, when did Joker have a bray? Oh my god. Yep. They actually went back to the old lore, the deep lore.
They gave him the Tim Burton berry. But they also, because the way his nose pointed in, I'm like, they're noticeably trying to make him look like something. Then I watched a clip of Joker or Joaquin Phoenix talking about Joker. I'm like, yeah, they've tried to steer him more towards looking like Joaquin Phoenix, try and capitalise on that.
Yeah. I think that will. I don't see Mortal Kombat as being the biggest franchise on the planet. I do remember it being controversial and part of the initial kind of games start, the whole descent into devil worship. Yeah. But beyond that, and beyond the kind of gimmick of it's super gory, is there any other reason to play it? If it's not if it's not a technical masterpiece, there's no real reason to play it.
I mean, it looks good because NetherRealm Studios have a really good method of doing facial capture. Mm-hmm. Which you've seen in games like Injustice 2, where you've got some of the best examples of character design ever. Like the way that they've made some of the characters' facial features move. Like there's a character, Black Canary, who's she's a metahuman with the ability to do this kind of sonic screech.
Yes.
The way her face moves when she's doing the sonic screech is insane. there's so much technical detail in there. So technically they look great. Like the facial capture stuff all looks great. The backgrounds look cool, but the combat itself is bland. So ultimately the rest of it just gets glossed over. People are just going, well, okay, looks cool, looks nice and it looks nice and clean, but like, the combat itself is just boring.
I have an idea for this year's Evo. After all the tournaments are said and done, or one night between tournaments, put on a shitty game and make top tier fighters play it. Put on like WWE's 2020, a game that's so broken.
Yeah.
You can have people flying into the air when they try and climb a ladder.
Yeah, let's get Sonic Fox and Goichi in on that shit.
I don't know if you've seen some of the glitches that come out of that, but they're horrific. I saw one where a guy was obviously you can roll out of the ring. I saw one where if you hit the kind of corner posts, your character just keeps rolling. They just get stuck, and you just infinitely roll off the side. Not only does that happen for one character, you can have it happen to multiple characters at the same time. There was one dude, there was two guys rolling at the same speed on the other side of the map, and they just have a constant roll, so they're just constantly spinning in the side. Gee. You can't touch them either.
I've seen one where it was a tag team match. Mm-hmm. They get one guy tagged in his opposition, and the guy just drifted through the ring. And just rolled out the other side. It was like he just kind of fell through it and rolled away.
How is it that yearly gaming through like sports games, through stuff like the Madden series and the FIFAs and all these WWE games, continues to produce a declining product?
Yeah, EA just don't give a shit anymore.
No one does anything about it. They call them on.
People still buy it.
Oh, it shouldn't be doing it anymore. It's a constant state of crunch. It's harming game developers and resulting in like horrific project compromises and stuff like that. Because I mean, part of Anthem, part of their staff had to go and help fix a FIFA game half a world away.
Yeah,
and that resulted in a fuck up on Anthem's part.
Oh, did you hear about Anthem?
No.
2 months later, after Christmas, they've still got their in-game Christmas decorations.
Oh yeah, I remember retweeting that off.
How dumb!
It's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
It's fucking pathetic.
It wouldn't make sense, but it's not like there's other there are other January holidays and stuff like that kick around. And there's also Valentine's Day coming up, and those will probably still be up there.
Like that, no one gives a shit about that game. That game could have been fucking awesome. Like the
premise of it sounds great. You're going to be basically playing up against. Sounds like Monster Hunter, basically.
Yeah, what was the name of this? What were the suits called? They had a particular name.
I think there's different names for different classes and stuff. I can't remember
the mech suits. That could have been a cool as fuck concept.
Yeah,
you get your own mech. You can customize it. You can put your own spin on it. You can build it to your need. Build it for your mission needs. But they just shat all over that thing. They just shat in a game box, closed it over, and said, "There's Anthem."
All you had to do, guys, was make a Destiny clone. I'm not even joking. Make a half-decent Destiny clone. Make it a bit more like a Battlefield game than the kind of Call of Duty approach that Destiny has.
Yeah.
You're golden. That's all you needed to do.
Like, just marry Destiny and Monster Hunter, you were fine.
And give it some RPG elements, because remember, you're BioWare. You know how to do that shit.
BioWare knows how to do that shit.
Even the literal B team in Austin probably could have figured it out.
Yeah.
Fucking hilarious.
That was ridiculous.
Sad, though, but seeing the tweet of, the Christmas decorations are still up in Anthem, and I don't know why I checked.
Just curiosity got to me, and they're still up.
I thought I'd play Anthem just to see what was going on. I came in to find Christmas decorations were still up. I'd been looking for dead bodies at that point. I'm like, guys, anyone here? Guys?
You just got the BioWare stuff, and there's one guy sitting there frozen.
They left the window open, and I froze to death.
I'm the night watchman. They left me here.
They never visit. They never do. Speaking of horrific accents, actually not horrific accents. I was talking last episode about how I was kind of cautiously optimistic for the Mulan movie.
Yeah. I
rewatched the animated classic movie. Holy shit, that is a good damn movie.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
I now feel like I may have misspoke about the animated one. Like it feels like you're walking into an ambush. Just a little bit of an ambush here.
A scotch of an ambush.
But I was looking at the cast there. And obviously everybody knows Eddie Murphy's Mushu. I didn't realise that George Takei was in there.
Yeah, he's the head of the family.
He's the ancestor.
Willan's father. No, he's the ancestor.
He's the old ancestor. He's the first ghost that appears during the first scene of Mushu.
Yeah.
Donny Osmond is Shang's singing voice. I was like, holy shit. Then you've got Miriam Margolyes as Nursie from Black. Remember Nursie from Black?
Yeah.
She's in there as the matchmaker.
Oh, right.
And I didn't catch it the first couple of times I've seen it, but then I watched it and I was like, holy shit, it really is her. And then Harvey Fierstein as Yao.
Yeah.
stealing the goddamn show. How are they? Whoever's playing him is fucked. Like they're so fucked.
They're never going to get it to that.
Everyone is walking into a trap. That guy's walking into 2 traps simultaneously. He's so fucked.
See, I think when you're going up with something like that, they just need to change the character completely because they do that quite often. Like in The Lion King, the live action remake of The Lion King, they thought, right, we're never going to match Nathan Lane as Timon.
Yes, I'm going to say yes.
The meerkat was Timon, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they're never going to match that. So let's just get Billy Eichner get in here doing whatever the fuck Billy Eichner does and just let him have at it because we're never going to match Nathan Lane.
Yeah. I feel like they're walking into a bit of a trap, but at the same time, I'll still keep the optimism. I mean, there's nothing to say you can't win this one.
Like the minute you said the Phoenix imagery and at some point she's going to die or she's going to take
she'll
a
be
hit.
down, she'll take some big hits and she'll have blurry vision, but then the only thing that she can see is the Phoenix and she'll do, I'm like a Phoenix, and she'll stand up again.
Like the Phoenix. It's going to happen and it's not going to be good because the last few live action Disney remakes have been fucking awful.
Yeah. Still going to watch them though.
Still not happy about Aladdin. Still pissed off that you took away my cool Jafar fight.
Yeah.
Made him fight some emaciated fucking Iago that wasn't even voiced by Gilbert fucking Gottfried. Not angry at all, motherfuckers.
There's no resentment there, kids.
There's no resentment at all. I'm a happy, well-adjusted individual.
Speaking of moments that will anger Dom, it's time for Sports Corner.
Ah, fuck.
Here we go, kids.
Sports Corner here, get your Sports Corner.
So, Sports Corner.
And the most important sporting event of any young Scotsman's life. The Super Bowl.
I actually did get asked to go to a Super Bowl party, but I thought I haven't watched enough American football to pick a team.
I think you should go. And I think I didn't get to go see it because I forgot to book the day off. I would have been up till about 5 a.m. You kind of need the next day off. I could have risked it because I'm working the late shift, but do you really want to be that guy showing up like still half asleep at your work, clearly smelling a beer? Hey Colin, how was your last night?
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. Go Chiefs. I actually found out the guy beneath me had a Chiefs flag up. I was like, oh, nice. Didn't know there were other fans.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Correct. Yeah. Against the
I don't fucking know.
San Francisco 49ers. We'll say pretty damn good game. I did predict it to be a pretty fucking tight one. Kansas City Chiefs have made comebacks for the last couple of games. They've made 20-point comebacks. So when you see that the San Francisco 49ers took a glory pick of them all, like the offensive team is like a big squad like group photo after the 10-point lead, boys, you done fucked up. You done poked the bear.
You're just showing that red. You're just pissing off the bill at that point, showing the red flag.
And it did not end well for them. Kansas City came back, won the game, and well deserved. I think they've had a great season. Their playoff football has been fantastic, but we're not here to talk about NFL. We're here to talk about...
Just talk about NFL for a bit more. Bit longer.
That was... My segment was written down as, we won't talk about this much. I just wanted to say, good game, Kansas.
Yeah, I mean, well done, Kansas City. At least you actually fucking won something. and you're the people of Kansas City, which isn't actually in Kansas.
Yeah, it's Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah. Was there not? Don't say something like that. It's like the people of Kansas and Kansas City have been prominent supporters of me. Long live the state of Texas. And like Kansas City, not in Texas.
He probably did. The man, morons. The man uses fucking marinara sauce as moisturiser.
Yeah, I've seen that. Looking like somebody's auntie, right? But I'm vamping because I don't want to talk about the rugby. But this.
But we must. Yes,
we must, because I'm a Scottish Rugby fan and I take my lumps every fucking year, it seems. but
year? You're optimistic.
Every 6 months we just get the shit kicked out of us by by teams that are just being coached better by better coaches. I think it's not the fact that I'm losing faith in the Scottish Rugby team. I still have, because this is the best team that we've had. This is a world-beating team that we have. Some players have left, but the players that have left have taught and coached the new wave coming up.
Okay.
So we have, on a player level, best Scotland team we've had in years and will have for the next couple of years. The coaching staff is just shit in the bed. They're not doing the right thing. A few key members of the defence team, or the defence coaching team, are leaving to go to Australia Rugby.
Right.
Because they are attached to Glasgow Warriors, and the head coach for Glasgow Warriors is going to Australia and taking that side with him. Okay. So Scotland are going to have to do something about that. Try and maybe recruit someone there. And the current head coach for Scotland, Gregor Townsend, is so one-dimensional a coach, it is pissing people off now. you watched the game and you seen that it was just one game plan, and then when that went to shit, no one could optimise it.
Yeah. Well, we should set it up that...
it was the Calcutta Cup, which is...
we should say that the game itself was part of the Six Nations tournament.
Six Nations tournament.
However, for international listeners, every time England and Scotland play, the Calcutta Cup is on the line.
Yeah, the Calcutta Cup, it's I don't know the specifics of it. It was just at the very beginning of the Scotland-England international rugby games. The Calcutta Cup was always this trophy that they played for. It's the same with, I think it's Scotland and Wales, or Scotland and France play for a thing called the Old Alliance Cup.
Right.
It's just basically signifying, like, you know, events that happen between the two of them.
Yeah.
So
Scotland and Wales would probably play for a bowl of leaky soup, to be honest.
They play for, I think they play for the Dodie Weir Cup, because Dodie Weir is connections to Wales or something. It was always a weird one, but anything that can commemorate Dodie Weir is only a good thing. But every year during the Six Nations, Scotland will play England for the Calcutta Cup. For the past 2 years, we have retained the Calcutta Cup.
Yeah. In
a fucking stellar game 2 years ago when we played them at Murrayfield and we just trounced them. Yeah. They couldn't get a word in edgewise. They would just, you know, blocked England at every chance. The second game down at Twickenham, down at England, was a good game in the second half. In the first half, Scotland couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
England went 31 points to the 31 unanswered points before the half, and Scotland just kind of went, what do we do now?
And the answer was win, turns out.
The answer was bring it to a draw, which was an achievement in of itself.
Yeah. But if you draw, you hold on to the cup.
Yeah, if you draw, you win the cup. And the secret to that success was Gregor Townsend, who's the head coach of Scotland, said, right, try it this way, try doing this, that, and the next thing. And it was the actions of one player, Finn Russell, who was at 10, just went, lads, that doesn't work for me. How about we do this? And his play style got us back. He went 38 unanswered points in the second half.
Yeah.
They only got their other try to equalise it to 38 all, because at the end, I can only assume the adrenaline wore off. We had a momentary lapse in our defence and they just snuck through.
Yeah, Scotland has a very big weakness called the 78th minute, where everything just kind of drops out of our bodies.
Yeah, the energy just leaves us.
There's 2 minutes left on the clock and it's game time, and all of a sudden we're in the shit.
Yeah, and our defence wasn't really... Our defence has never really been the greatest, which is part of where our problems lay on Saturday's game against England at Murrayfield. Yeah, was it Murrayfield?
Now, this game is actually one of the lowest scoring games in like the history of the tournament.
Yeah.
And the first half was only like the lowest scoring game, with the exception of like one game in the 1960s.
Yeah.
Where there was like 3 points scored in total in the first half. So this was not a big game points wise, because the kind of leading edge of what's it's called Storm Ciara.
Storm Ciara. Yeah.
We just sat through it today, and yes, on Sunday and today, which somehow featured snow. We don't fucking know how that happened.
It's going to be just belting Scotland for the next 2 weeks.
And this was the leading edge. Just happened to creep over Murrayfield at the first whistle.
And it was horrendous. It got to the point where the place kickers, your 10s, your 15s, were kicking the ball and it was curving back in the field. The winds were that strong. It was ridiculous. And
also you had the English kicker having the ball held for him by one of his teammates, just so that it wouldn't fall over in a stand. Yeah,
that happens at the level of rugby that I play. That happens at club level rugby, when you've got someone with their index finger or their trigger finger on top of the ball, just holding it on for them.
Yeah, well, this guy actually had his hand behind the ball.
Yeah, he made the cardinal error of trying to cup the ball. I was like, dude, you're going to lose a finger.
Yeah. Like, you see him just whip the hand back like 30 seconds, like with 3 steps to go, like, I'm not losing this hand.
Like, Owen Farrell's one of the best kickers in the competition right now. I will lose a finger if I hold that. And fair play to England. They kept the pressure on in the right moments. They chose to hit with their forwards. They knew where to hit and where we were defensively weakest. And they just... I'm not going to say they outplayed us, because they never outplayed us. We shot ourselves in the foot by, you know, trying to stick to the game plan. And the calling card of a good coach is having more than one game plan. It's just like, right, if he does this, you match that. Like, they'll have plan A through, you know, L. They'll have A through Z. They'll have so many fucking game plans. Whereas the head coach for Scotland seems to just, no, we'll play this way. We'll have plan A. That plan A is all we need. Let's play the fastest game of rugby that we can. Like, we want to be speed, but Scotland has probably a very dominant forwards pack if it's played right. So I think we should have focused more during the game about, you know, trucking it up with the forwards a few times. But the problem that we come into then, as you said during the kind of preamble before we're talking about that, England had 6 forwards waiting.
Yeah. Like
fucking salivating, bibs on with knives and forks waiting to come on.
I will say as well, when you watch that lineup for the national anthems, they are bigger than us.
Yeah.
Noticeably by about 10 to 15 kilos each body.
Yeah, I think that's because
the weight adds up.
Scottish Rugby, we pick from sort of other players. We've got a big forwards pack. But England, because it attracts more people from different areas, particularly people from the Pacific Islands, they can get bigger people. Like, because you look at the Tuolagis, the Vinipolas, they are big fucking lads.
Yeah, there are some huge dudes in there. There was at one point where the camera had to tilt up. This is a very wide angle lens, tilting up to catch one of the boys, like heads.
Yeah.
As he's being greeted by like Princess Anne. She's just this tiny little, like, it's nice to meet you, sir.
Yeah.
His hand is bigger than her chest.
Like Maraway Toji, she's picking her up and nice to meet you, put you back down.
And when I was watching that lineup, I'm like, this is bad. I was watching that lineup because I was looking at the weather. My theory is, okay, this can't become a passing game. The ball will be too wet.
Yeah.
No, we can't pass in that. We have bad ball handling at the best times.
Yeah.
This is going to end up with slip balls, possessions being overturned, and an Englishman running.
Yeah, just turnover after turnover
on a dime and just going, and we're in trouble.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's too windy to kick. It's too rainy to pass. This becomes a fight.
Yeah, this just becomes up the jumper, just truck up, like crash ball after crash ball.
But and unfortunately, when you're basically just playing a fight with a ball involved, when you're outgunned by 10, 15 kilos per guy, it grinds you down.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you hear there are 6 more big forwards ready to go at a moment's notice.
I think what we also did is, it's a problem that happens even at the level of rugby that I play. Forwards don't go in formation when they go into a crash ball. They just take it up themselves. You usually want to go in with support. You want to go, like, the tip of the spear will carry it in, but then you have 2 other forwards on the latch behind you, and they will push you through that. If you've got a big enough forward, maybe a prop or a number 8 or something, they can probably push through themselves. Yeah. But even at that,
that's like 1 or 2 guys per team. Yeah,
you're basically gifting them the ball if you go in yourself. And Scotland did that a few times, particularly with the prop. I'm a fucking huge fan of this guy. I fucking love Xander Ferguson, one of the best props in the competition. But he went in a few times by himself. And
that was the guy that got the run. He got a good
that was something Sutherland. I think that guy's name was Rory Sutherland. I think his name was. But he got a fucking beautiful run. Like, I literally text you saying there's nothing that gives me more goddamn pride than seeing a prop in full flight, because he's moving. He just got the ball, and you can always tell when a forward gets the ball because you can almost hear him just go, "Oh fuck, I need to run.
They're gonna hit me."
I need to go. Must go faster. Must go faster. Must go faster.
There's just there's large thumping noises. The ground starts to shake a little bit. Just a big man running.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome to see. But yeah, there was more single runs than I've ever seen in a game of rugby. I can't say that, I won't say that it was because of just, it was tired exhaustion. There was enough players standing around them that they could have just formed a crash ball.
But you have each individual Scotsman going forward against a wall of white shirts.
Yeah, and they were coming up quick.
And that's the thing, is England are moving very fast. They're moving really well to make sure that we can't build up big passes, we can't move big momentum plays, and we can't get enough speed up to make our mass hit their mass with the equivalent force. Because if you're getting somebody running at you, and that dude is 100 kilos, and he is about to run at you with a ball in his hand, and he knows he's coming through you, if you're standing still, you're falling over. That's just a fact.
Need to go and meet that player, kill their momentum straight, and England were experts at that.
England did that really well, because it got down to the point where Scotland were within 5 yards of the try line, less than that at points.
Yep.
But we hit a problem where we have the individual runners. And if you look at our try attempts versus their try success, they had 2 bodies running with the ball.
Yeah.
We were doing single man running against 2 bodies.
Yeah.
It just won't work over that short a distance unless you're a freak of nature with quads made of like steel pistons.
Yeah, unless you've got just that much power behind you, that much get up behind you, that you're going to be able to punch through it. It's never going to go well. And I think what England did is when they were getting to the try line, this is killing me to praise England so much, but England did a really good job of getting low and punching through.
Yes.
Whereas Scotland, we went upright so many fucking times, it was annoying me. Even the smaller backs were still just going in and upright. There was at one point where one of these centres, I think it might have been Sam Johnson, who's a fucking phenomenal player at the best of times. He did 2 things throughout the game that bugged me. The second one I'll get to in a minute, but the first one was whenever he ran into the ruck, he was always pushed back because he ran in upright. Yeah. And it's like, you're never going to get anything. You need to get low and kind of punch through. Whereas he was going in and the force was just pushing him back. He was taking it flat.
And what drove me daft was that we could see this working. There were points where on those, like, there was two good, like, decent attempts at getting over that English try line, and then both times you would see Scotsman running upright, just running around the corner into an Englishman upright, and at that point the bigger man is going to push you back.
Yeah.
Because he's getting himself there, and I guarantee you his mate's coming in as well in half a second. You have half a second to make the difference. If you can't make the difference, you're going backwards. We'll lose yards. We might lose possession. But you could see there were occasions where a guy just got the ball, took 2 steps, and then dives forward. And we gain a foot.
Yeah.
And then that guy can turtle over the ball, present it to the next guy who should be taking the next foot, the next foot, the next foot. If it takes 10 bodies to make 10 yards, we can get 10 bodies from somewhere.
Yeah. And there's always the adage of, the adage in any game of rugby, any coach at any level of rugby will always say, right, lads, it's time for up the jumper rugby. And that's just anybody. It doesn't need to be a fucking forward, doesn't even need to be a back. Just any player on there that's got a number on their back, just keep trucking the ball up. Like, if you're making a pod to take the crash ball, and it's the fullback, a winger, and a prop forward, fucking fire that through.
Yeah.
Like, the 2 skinny boys, get on the fat boy and push him through. Like,
whatever works.
Yeah, I mean, you're never going to get the pod that you're after.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have designated pods. I play in the front row, so my pod will always be prop, me as the hooker. That's my pod.
Yeah.
But 6 times out of 10, I've never got that pod around me. Last week I was playing against Cumbernauld, and literally I got the ball for the crash ball, and there was a winger and a fullback next to me. I was like, fuck it, lads, we're going.
This'll do. Let's move.
Fuck it, like, get to the wee boy, I'll shove him through.
Yeah. But you have to make adaptations, and we could see this.
Yeah.
And the thing is that the Scottish captain stands back. He is he can be there in the moment.
Yeah.
But most of the time he is back and observing. The fact that this was not picked up on and noticed, at least on the first attempt. It should have been noticed on the first attempt, and we should have had a quick, like, guys, dig.
We're doing this,
We're going down 1 foot at a time, but we're getting over that line in the end. Fuck the glory, we're going for the win, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I said that the last time we recorded, Stuart Hogg has done a fucking fantastic job as captain. He's played some good rugby, and he's carried the ball in really well. He showed how well he can play rugby.
That man is trying.
Yeah, he's a fucking phenomenal player. One of the best attacking players, probably the best attacking 15 that you'll see in the game right now. Stuart Hogg is fucking lightning in a bottle. He's ridiculously good. But he kind of showed that you can't really be a captain from the back. You need to have someone that's in the fucking reeds, in the mud. They just like pulling people left and right. Like, you can't have someone that's trying to get an overview. Like, to me, like I said, captain should always be a forward leading from the front lines. If not, captain should be the scrum half.
Yeah,
because they can literally see. They can see back. They can see forward. They're calling people towards you,
and they're always going to be in roughly about the centre.
Yeah, they're going to have that. Yeah, they're going to have that.
If they're not
360 view of everything around them.
If they're not in the centre of the pitch, they're in the centre of the action.
Yeah, they're literally feeding the ball out to the 10.
Yeah.
So you just need to have somebody that's got a bit of game awareness about them. And I'm not saying that Stuart Hogg doesn't have that, but I think he's focusing on other things. And in a game where I think the ball was held, for no joke, about 30 seconds before it was kicked. There was so much kicking in a very, very windy game. He could do nothing but focus on the ball coming back.
Yeah.
That he couldn't really say to the guys, right.
Because as well, it's not just that the ball's being kicked, it's that the ball's being kicked somewhere. Good fucking luck guessing where.
Like trying to, because the best way to catch a ball in a game of rugby is never let it out your sight. But when it's windy as hell and you've got rain fucking pouring down, there's no way you're keeping track on that.
Yeah.
Or even in floodlights.
Yeah.
Like the 9 times out of 10 you're going to fucking lose track of the ball. And yeah, it was a tough game, a very tough game. It was not an easy shift for any of the Scotland guys.
It was not a pretty game either.
It was not a pretty game.
I think it was the best game they could have had, like the best game of rugby that could be had in the circumstances. But at the same time, it was horrific to watch my team go through that.
Yeah, it was horrific to watch the national side go through that. But that's the thing. England did some things well, but they weren't really spectacular either. England, it was not a showing indicative of the team that almost won the World Cup.
Yes.
They had a couple of good players. Like, the forwards were good. Their defence was great, but England's attack was horrible.
The whole thing was basically a step away from a mud wrestling match.
Yeah, like England's attacking shape was pretty bad at sometimes, because Owen Farrell, good 12. I'd say he's a better 10 than he's a 12, but he's good at playing the 12 position. He could get no go forward at all. Like, whenever he got the ball, it was just that he was met with a lack of options, or he was failing to execute on simple things, and he reverted back to the simple game plan of fuck it, we'll just hit the wings.
Yeah.
And obviously it helped. They did get a few good breaks, but 9 times out of 10 there was just someone there to push them out into touch. They weren't really getting much from it. So I wouldn't really say that England were the better team that they won. They adapted better.
Yeah. I think that the problem is that we had no second plan. I think the game should have had a lot more passing in it. I know the passing was risky, but at this point, everything's a risk. I mean, we've had guys, there was points where a guy would run with the ball, he'd be hit by somebody tackling him, he'd fall, and the next frame, there'd be no explanation, but the Englishman had the ball. Yeah. But how the fuck that happened? There's no, he just drops with the ball and then the other guy picks it up and runs with it back. I'm like, how the fuck that happened? Yeah,
it goes back to what I was saying, that there was just no... There was no pod system going. There was no, I'm going to run the ball and I'm going to, I'm needing 2 people behind me. And it showed it came out in the wash that Scotland were just the woefully underprepared team. And there was a lot of times when, at the kickoff, after the reset, or after the points had been scored, or after the penalty was given or something, Scotland would kick the ball to England, and there was about 2 or 3 players that would just rush straight up and leave a massive gap. That is basic rugby. You never leave the gap. I'd rather sacrifice 10, maybe 5-10 metres to have a solid line. And that was the other point that I was going to bring up about Sam Johnson. Fucking fantastic player. He kick-started our comeback against England last year. And it was a phenomenal game. He basically put his body on the line, proved that he should be in a Scotland jersey. But him and whoever, Blair Kinghorn, who was playing on wing, they just flooded up immediately. And they literally, at one point, the winger or the scrum half passed the ball to the centre, who was just outside of Sam Johnson, and just tap danced through the gap that he left. If it wasn't for the fact that Stuart Hogg and Adam Hastings, the 10 and 15, closed that gap in, that would have been a try all day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not looking... The report card is not looking good for Gregor Townsend, and I think the Scottish Rugby Union will be saying to him, it's better if we just cut our ties here, because it is not working. You are losing us players. I mean, without a doubt, Finn Russell is the best 10 that Scotland have. Adam Hastings is getting there, but I think he needs maybe a couple more Six Nation campaigns under his belt, maybe some more games with Glasgow before he gets to his peak, his zenith. But Finn Russell, he is probably one of the best rugby minds in the game right now. He can play the game expertly and he can read the game even better. To piss a player off that badly that he's not willing to come back for the rest of the campaign, questions need to be asked.
Yeah. If I'm Monday morning quarterbacking this, I'd have went for a different strategy. I mean, I know the pod would eventually help us break through the line to get the tries. Yeah. I would have just said, fuck the tries.
Yeah, I would have just started pinging drop goals.
Yeah. I'd have went and try and push your team up to about the 30, because for the first half, Scotland had the wind behind them. Yeah. And you would see the ball from England kind of try to go up against the wind and drop within about 30 yards. Scotland managed to kick the ball from basically their own try line into the very back corner of the English try line with one hit. Yeah. It was a fucking masterpiece, and you saw the ball land, you're like, Jesus Christ. How did the accuracy involved in that horrific save? But the problem is there was no control. Yeah. But I would have still just pushed up to the 30, try kick, push up, try kick. Eventually a guy will calibrate to the wind and get it. But I think we should have just said, fuck it, try and get 3 kicks.
Yeah, try and get the points.
Just say, look, England now have to score a touchdown, or need to score a try, need to get major points on the board, because we can probably get ourselves in a position and then just let, Shorg is a cannon of a foot.
Yeah, that guy's got a shotgun attached to his right leg.
Because I text you to say, at the half, we're in trouble now, because now that wind's coming back again. So she said, nah, don't worry about it. I'm like, fucking right, don't worry about it. What do you mean, don't worry about it? And then all of a sudden, I think it was like his first action of the second half was just a battering of the. He just hammered the ball. Then you're like, wait, how the hell did he do that?
That's the thing. That was the ball. I know exactly what kick you're talking about. That went to the dead ball, and it was just like, you've got us a lot of possession, but we need to fucking capitalise on it. And then it went from Scotland got the ball back, trucked it up again, and it was immediately turned over by Maro Itoje, who's like, that guy is just dick in terms of how many times he's beat Scotland, but he's just fucking ridiculous when it comes to the forwards game. Like, it's just innate in him. Like that is just inbuilt rugby brain. Like, but when it comes up against Scotland, you're a fucking arsehole, mate. You're a fantastic ambassador for Scottish Rugby, and you're building up the game in England in ways that no one's really done before. But fuck you, fuck you, Maro Itoje.
Fuck you, talented piece of shit.
Yeah, what you gonna play rugby well? You're gonna get guaranteed spot in the Lions tour. Fuck you. Fuck you.
It was a hard game to watch.
Yeah, it was definitely a hard game to watch. Not as hard to watch as the Wales-Italy game, where it was 42-0.
Jesus.
Italy just got the shit kicked in by Wales.
This was like, fuck you, fuck your family.
Wales were out to put a fucking marker down, and they slapped one down right in front of Italy's face.
Right across Italy's forehead, just, ow.
Yeah. That's the thing, Italy are going to come back pissed off, and I think Scotland might lose that game.
Yeah.
We haven't lost to Italy in as long as I've been following rugby. So I think this might be the trend breaker.
Here comes that one where like somebody gets a beating so bad they come back and take out on the next guy.
Yeah, because Italy played France and shocked France. France are favoured to win the Six Nations this year because they've not lost a game yet.
All right.
They've only played fucking 2 games, but they still won both the games.
Yeah.
But Italy came back and gave France a shock. So if they play like that against Scotland, it's fucking try time all day for them.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope that Scotland sees sense and, make the new game plan, because we've lost another player. I think on Sunday afternoon they announced that Scotland lock Johnny Gray, who is a fucking phenomenal attack and defence player, attack and defence forward. He's been ruled out of the rest of the campaign with a shoulder injury.
Ah, shit.
So it's not a good sign. And then on the opposite, on the same line as that, a guy named Ben Tullis, who's another lock for Scotland. Mm-hmm. Plays for Edinburgh. Again, fucking phenomenal forward. He was also looking at as a kind of iffy, so we're losing players left, right and centre. So
where's the Italy game taking place? Where's this Italy game taking place? In 2 weeks' time, I think you said?
2 weeks' time, and it's taking place in Rome.
Okay,
so it's home field advantage to Italy. And
but there won't be a storm.
There won't be a storm. It'll be clear weather.
I genuinely think I would have loved to see that game delayed and played without those circumstances, but obviously you can't because it's tournament time. Games have to go ahead unless there's an absolute apocalypse level event.
Yeah. Even at that, if there was a fucking tsunami, like the Scotland-Japan games in the World Cup, Scotland would have demanded to play it.
Yeah. I think ideally I would have loved to see that game played under better conditions, and I don't want to blame it all on the weather, but I think the way that the weather's so horrific. You can see footage in some cameras. They've managed to blur out the rain, and then you'll see like a from the ground perspective, and you'll see them getting hammered. Yeah. It's like they're standing in a shower.
It was like when they'll be watching some of the players on the pitch. Like during kickoff, they like to kind of zoom in on the kicker.
Yeah, there
was a point where they zoomed out and panned up towards the floodlights, and it was just a fucking storm of rain.
Yeah, the cameras that they had were actually they had to find a way to wipe them.
Yeah, I mean at one point there's a guy at the halfway line standing with the big BBC fucking camera on his shoulder. Yeah. At one point you just see him wiping it, like bringing out a handkerchief or something from his pocket and just wiping it down.
I did notice one thing as well, is that most of those cameras are shoulder mounted.
Yeah.
However, or if they're not shoulder mounted, they're on steady arms or steady cam stuff. Yeah. There's normally a bit of a setup there. I saw one guy with an underslung camera, like it was like holding it from the top, kind of like a heavy bolter on 40k.
Fucking hell!
All I could think of was just heavy bolter on 40k. He just had it under there, and it was covered in like about 40 different like protective plastic layers.
Yeah. You ever seen the guy who has the outdoor camera at a sports event? He's sitting there in like a fucking turret thing. He's got all these. He's got basically a gazebo over his face. He's just sitting there going like, "Hold on, need to get the best fucking. Oh wait, pull this open." Sitting there like a mobile post box, just trying to.
But this guy had it like, and I was like, that's such a weird camera. And then I saw them use it, and it is for those like on the wing running down. You have the camera basically falling right behind, and the lens is within like a foot of the ball.
Yeah.
And obviously, if someone smashes that guy, the camera's gone.
That was enough.
It's a great angle.
Yeah, it was a very cool picture. But
did you get the shot? That's all that matters.
Like, is the camera safe? I don't care if you're bleeding out. Is the camera safe?
Yeah. Part of it went inside you. Don't care.
I don't care if you've got a lens up your arse.
Did you get the shot? That's all that matters.
That was a really big complaint, because I'm part of the Scottish Rugby forum on Facebook, and there was a huge complaint that about the safety in the stadium. how there should have been more crash barriers along the place, because if a player slides out, he's hitting concrete.
Right.
Like there was no like kind of soft barriers up or anything like that. So if a player, especially during wet conditions at Murrayfield, if he slides out after being tackled, he's basically, if his momentum carries him, he's basically going into the concrete of the stands, and that's winding the player at the very least, breaking something at the most.
Yeah, or just, the pure like rough and tumble, like the actual scraping and stuff. You don't want to get an infected cut on a rugby pitch that gets nasty fast.
Yeah, that gets very nasty very quickly.
We have enough coronavirus as it is in the UK.
Yeah.
We don't need massive outbreaks of staph infections.
You mean the raccoon virus? You can't convince me that is not the first wave of the T virus. I've seen the company that's dealing with the coronavirus. You can't paint the Umbrella Corporation symbol from Resident Evil green and expect me not to fucking notice it.
Where aren't you, China? We fucking see your
I fucking see your games. Fucking big plays over there.
Speaking of games, I'm playing Doom.
You playing Doom? How?
Doom 2016 in preparation for Doom Eternal, and I think I've talked about this before, but I'm fucking sold.
It's so good. It's ridiculous.
I need a little bit of time to readjust to control schemes. I'm not used to the fact that I don't have to press a button to run.
Yeah.
You're automatically running.
Yeah.
You're automatically running, and there's a button to let you walk for some reason.
Yeah, there's a button to let you slow down.
And it's automatically set to shift. I think they're taking the piss out of you with that. But
yeah.
I've put that away as like the G key or some shit like that, the P key, so I'm never going to touch that.
Yeah.
I moved it away on the keyboard. But yeah, fucking loving it. I played through my first mission in Hell.
Yeah.
The pacing in that game is so good because you can run through it for hours. You can play like 2 hours non-stop, just in the flow.
Yeah.
In the moment, and just kind of slaughtering demons as you go. And then all of a sudden, you just hit a room. And the room then proceeds to beat the shit out of you for 10 minutes.
The room has the nests, the demon nests.
Not even that, there'll just be a moment where you're in a room, and like the first one I hit was you're opening the plasma vents because the place is going to overload, and you don't open the vents, everything overheats. The whole planet blows up. You're fucked.
Yeah.
And they put 3 Hell Knights in there, and a bunch of the ghouls.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, fine, I can fucking deal with this. And I'm running out of ammo, but I'm making it there eventually. I'll be fine. And then they drop 3 more Hell Knights in, and I'm like, oh, fuck's sake. And you're just running in circles, screaming, blasting them with shotguns. Yeah. But it's a lot of fun. And
it's ridiculous.
I've now just finished my first mission in Hell, and yeah, holy fuck, I'm loving this game.
Game's good. It's one of those games where you get so into the game, you're just like, fuck it, bring on the next difficulty level. I can fucking do this. Next thing you know, you're doing Hurt Me Plenty mode, and you're like, okay, this is too much.
I think I'm playing on what would normally be considered hard mode.
Yeah.
And it is occasional, like as a couple good hours, and all of a sudden something just comes in and just punches the teeth out. It's a lot of fun, so I'm looking forward to Doom Eternal.
Oh, yeah. So. The good thing about Doom is... the one thing that took me a while, should I say before I get into that, the one thing that took me a while to learn is that you don't really reload until you empty the clip. Like, I'm hammering all the keys to try and find the reload button.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, I just empty this shit.
Well, I have compulsive reload. I really, if you watch me play Rainbow Six Siege or Destiny, after almost every kill, I reload.
Yeah.
I just, I'm always on the R button, and I've actually had to take all the bindings, and there's no actions associated with R, because I'm just compulsively hitting R whenever I'm like reloading buttons. And I've never really played a game where I'd never have to reload. There's no gun that I've found yet that I have to actively reload. It's just, you just waste all your ammo, and it's gone, and then you swap guns. There's not even an option to just automatically have it swap guns. But that gets dangerous when you can have a rocket launcher and there's no friendly fire turn off. You can just be like rattling away with an LMG, and then automatically it'd swip over a rocket launcher, and all of a sudden it's just like pieces of you are everywhere.
Yeah, it's very easy to kill yourself in Doom 2016 because you'll be sitting there with a super shotgun, you'll be shooting a couple rounds with that, then you switch to the rail gun, like, oh crap, just blew myself up.
Yeah, I got my hands on the super shotgun. I didn't know I'd picked up. I picked up the gauze cannon and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's a lot of fun.
Gauze cannon's fun.
Yeah, hey, I picked the sniper option. I didn't go for the siege option yet.
Oh, the siege option's fun. You just like fold it out and destroy the shit out of anything that gets in front of you.
But I went for the sniper option, and I would just stand there and ping people in the head.
Yeah.
Just dink.
See, I went for the sniper option with the machine gun, the sort of heavy machine gun.
Yeah.
I went for the sniper scope and the missile pods. So I'm just like, someone's getting close to me, I'll load a few rounds of the missile pods.
I've already got the sniper option. The idea of having the extra missile pods at the side, I'm just holding off on that one until I really need it, because I want to just be good at using the guns.
Yeah.
and I'll come back to adding on extra shit to give me that last minute get out of jail free card. Because I'm impressive that they've continued to escalate further and further and further.
Yeah.
But I've just got my hands on the super shotgun, and I'm now just starting to fight the ones that look like the devil. The giant red guys.
Oh, the succubuses. Or maybe the mancubuses.
No, I'm a bit further than that.
All right.
I've only found them in hell, but I just got the super shotgun in hell and then just pulled it out, and there's like a 10-foot demon guy with like 2 massive horns.
Oh, I think
you rip
they're...
the horn off and beat them to death.
Yeah, I think those are Hell Knights.
No, Hell Knights are the guys with the white chrome head. They've got the giant head.
Oh,
you
yeah,
can't
yeah,
see
fuck.
them, and they just run at you.
I don't know the name of them.
Yeah, the Doom mythology is apparently very complex.
Oh, yeah, they got in on some shit. It's actually getting to the point where in Doom Eternal, they're confirming some shit that was Easter eggs in other games as being canon.
Right.
Like, you go into Doom Guy's office, because he has an office now. They confirm that Doom 3, or that Doom Eternal is part of the greater Doom canon, because you can find Doom Guy's rabbit cage. The whole point of Doom 3 is he's trying to kill demons because they killed his rabbit.
Fuck's sake.
So there's the rabbit hutch that's in his office. Doom Guy was also a secret character in a Tony Hawk game. So you can find the skateboard that he used in that game in his office.
I don't remember that, and I remember a lot of the Tony Hawk games.
Me neither. Like, it was my brother that told me, just because he showed me this picture and I was like, okay, there's the skateboard that you used in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 or something like that. Fucking hell. But yeah, all the little Easter eggs of Doom Guy that you've seen throughout other games is now canon. Like, you see his old armor from the original Doom games where he had the midriff exposed.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's like, again, he used to wear that shit. Now he's just swapped out the midriff exposed to just inhumanly large biceps.
The massive fucking meaty guns.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense though when you see what he's lugging around constantly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen this. It's an old Rooster Teeth immersion where they just had you run around as, I think it was the Doom Marine. They said the Doom Marine carries a rocket launcher, LMG, submachine gun, pistol, shotgun, sawn-off shotgun, and they just load it all into the guys and just have them run through a battlefield. It's like old school classic RT, and you're like, yeah, you never really would be able to like stop or run, or like if you lost your acceleration, you're fucked. You're never getting your speed back up again.
It's like the Resident Evil paradox. Like, how can you run with a shotgun, a pistol, all the ammo that you need for it, a bunch of herbs, shit tons of keys, ink ribbons? Where the fuck are they putting all this? Because no Resident Evil characters have backpacks. Like Jill Valentine in Resident Evil 3 is walking around in a skirt and a boob tube.
Well, what was the one in number 4 or 5?
4. You had a briefcase.
Yeah, you had the briefcase, and it was like you can have 30 bullets or 1 egg.
Yeah.
These all take up the same amount of space. Why? Fuck you. That's why.
Yeah. Fuck.
It's a good one. I actually found that we've been talking about the fact that we are bemoaning the lack of new music. Guess who's coming to the rescue?
Who?
Slipknot.
Slipknot are coming to the rescue.
Corey Taylor gave an interview with the BBC because obviously they've been here in the UK, and they actually apparently took over Radio 1 for 2 hours.
Yeah, in fact, no, I think I've seen the interview you're talking about because I listened to a band that he recommended. It was called Knee Deep or something like that.
I don't think I've recommended that one.
It was a hardcore band. I didn't know it was a hardcore band because he said it was a good record to listen to when you're in the gym. And I thought, I'll give this a listen to. And I was like, oh, Corey, you've betrayed me, Corey. This is hardcore music.
But he's basically said that Corey Taylor's given the interview. He said it's Slipknot's responsibility to bring metal bands that should get a boost and get a wider audience to the wider audience because they are. I think it's hard to disagree that they're the biggest metal act on the planet.
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean, about 10, 15 years ago, you would have said Metallica, but now it really is just down to Slipknot because nobody wants to talk to Metallica anymore. And he basically said this: they've been doing it for years. That's why they toured with bands like Disturbed, Mudvayne, and Hatebreed. So he said that the next generation's coming up, and he's got an eye on the indie scene. And so they found 4 bands that I'd never heard of before. Knocked Loose, a band called Horror.
Knocked Loose, that was the name of the band.
Yeah.
They're fucking hardcore.
And Horror, though, is spelled HO9909. Code Orange and Rival Sons. And then they hit me with something that I never saw coming. He's a fan of Royal Blood. Bro, nice pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've got a weird thing because I listened to some of the Horror tracks, and they are a rap band with a punk influence, but old school punk thrash.
If I remember right, that was the band that you were saying that they'll start off singing, they'll start off with a kind of metal type song, then they'll just go rap, then they'll just keep cycling through different genres.
Well, this one, I honestly was watching it and I'm like, this reminds me, not only the video style, but it reminds me a lot of like White Zombie and Rob Zombie's like weirder, more like it feels like you're already drunk or on a fucking acid trip, watching like a collage of Rob Zombie movies while Rastafarians rap over it, and you're like, this whole thing is a fucking trip, and I love it. It won't be for everyone though. I guarantee you, someone's gonna go, "What the fuck did you recommend?" But you've got those guys, and then the guys that I would consider to be the like spiritual successor to Muse, and Corey Taylor's like, "I recommend both." What? It's like if Morphe said, "Take the blue pill or the red pill, or both."
Just smash them together. Take the purple pill.
Take the purple pill, and just it's weird, but I do find it very admirable that Corey Taylor comes out and says, while they're all talking about Slipknot might not be around for forever, or won't be around for forever, might be go at any given moment, but at the same time, Corey Taylor will in the same interview say, "But here are other people I think you should listen to.
Yeah,
here's the guys that I'd recommend." I
think that's the calling card of like a genuinely like sort of prolific band. Is they've saying, right, we're happy that you listen to us, but like, here's some other good bands out there that you can listen to. And I think like, Slipknot's or Corey Taylor is doing a really required service to the metal community at that point.
Yeah,
because so many people, I mean myself included, I'm very much in this boat. If we kind of get entrenched in a style of music, or we get entrenched in a genre of music to the point where we know what albums we're going to listen to. Like, this is what I'm going to listen to if I want to listen to that type of music. We have set sort of preferences. But to have someone from a band that you've enjoyed for so many fucking years just come out and say, "Nah, give these guys a try," or like, it might not be your style, but give Royal Blood a try. Like, there's track, I think they have a track called it was on a music soundtrack. Fucking hell, it was on a movie soundtrack that I was watching, and it popped up and I was like, "Oh, that's actually pretty fucking good."
Yeah, they've got this weird kind of style to them where there's a lot of very groovy in a weird way, and that's why I think of them as being like the successor to Muse, but like the old school Muse, just maybe before Black Holes and Revelations, where I mean I hoard that album to death. I fucking love Black Holes and Revelations. That was like a good chunk of my childhood. It is that album, and playing.
Is that the one that had Supermassive Black Hole and stuff in it?
Yes.
Or is that early?
It's the same album, but there's a bunch of other stuff on there. That, like, I used to listen to that constantly.
Knights of Sidonia. No.
Yeah, it's on there. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's
a big fucking album.
It's a song as well as an anime.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
I was going to say, no, that's an anime.
But the spelling's different.
Yeah, they're Knights of Sidonia.
Yeah.
The other one's Knights of Sidonia.
One's CY, one's SY.
Yes, I.
Totally different thing. But
not real at all.
That album and just playing Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
On the PS2, just constantly. That was like summers was that.
That was
damn
chilled.
Good summer.
Yeah.
But actually, I was listening to your recommendation for album of 2019. It was I the Mask.
Yep.
One question though: when did In Flames the Jester Race come out? Roughly.
The Jester Race. That was what, 1990s, maybe 2000s.
Well, according to YouTube Music, it came out in 2020. I don't know if there's been a remaster.
They went through a whole load of their shit and put up remasters. Because on Spotify I have 2 versions of all the records.
Because there's soundtrack to Your Escape as well from In Flames on there.
Yeah, that was 2003.
Because that's 2020 as well, apparently.
Yeah.
So they've released remasters. That's interesting because if you listen to the In Flames album, pretty good. I quite enjoyed it. So it's good to know that they're bringing out remasters for bands that...
Yeah, they're doing a lot of reissues because I've got a funny feeling they're no longer with Nuclear Blast.
Oh.
So maybe they've brought that out under a new banner or something. I don't know. It would make sense if they're on a new record label, but at the same time they're probably just remastering or remixing certain things.
I want to see if the new album was produced or was under a different record, because normally there's record information.
Pretty sure they probably have stuck with Nuclear Blast, but they're actually In Flames are touring, and it was a fucking mighty schedule that was on there. It was like Megadeth, Trivium, Lamb of God, In Flames.
Yeah, I'd just seen that being posted on Twitter by a friend of mine that reads manga, and he was like, "Yeah, they're doing a 50 tour date in the US." Like, bro,
yeah.
I was like this close to just talking like, "Hey Dom, how about them visas? When we getting off this rock?
When we getting off this rock, dude." I'd fucking go in a heartbeat because it was posted on Facebook by Jesterhead UK, and I was like, "Let me buy tickets, fucking let me at it. I will go to that. I will take fucking all the debt to make sure I go to that show."
I'd say it's probably the worst part being a metalhead in the UK is bands typically appear in the winter on a Tuesday, especially in Scotland.
Yeah,
and it's just them like a medium support act and a small support act. Maybe another local band if they're lucky. But I find it very frustrating when you see like these, like the big Knotfest and stuff, all the like big Rebel Yell stuff, all the stuff down the south and that. There's horrifically massive concerts. It's all metal, and you see the concert footage and everybody's kind of like, meh, we don't care. Dude, you put that on in Glasgow, people will start an actual fucking riot.
Yeah, people will show up at the door and just listen in and headbang. They'll make a party outside.
Yeah.
It's always struck me as weird that not more bands aren't coming to Scotland. But I think when you realise that there's visas and shit involved, there's just a lot of travel for certain bands, it's probably got to get a bit daunting. But at the same time, if they're in England, it's not too far away.
The worst part is we're doing a UK tour.
Scotland's not there.
Yeah, we went to Leeds. Fuck off.
Yeah. Who was it that done that? I think it was
Five Finger Death Punch and Bad Wolves did it this year. I was livid.
Well,
we're coming to Newcastle, Manchester, and everywhere just south of the border. Fuck you.
It would have been cool to see Five Finger Death Punch again, because their download performance was awful.
Yeah.
It was not great. Ivan Brady was just like, I'm singing this song because I want to get off stage. I need a piss.
Bro, don't tell everyone that. We all know, but come on.
It was the same with Korn in 2009 at download. Because Jonathan Davis was just, here's a song, here's another song, here's another song. Weeping Corn, thank you, good night. It's like 5 minutes after you started the set. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Keep playing, motherfucker.
Bro, you have another half an hour if you want. I mean, you're Corn, you're the legend.
Marilyn Manson took 2 hours talking about his coat. You can take more time.
Guys, I want to tell you about my coat right now.
Now he looks at his shooter and goes, guys, you want me with my jacket on or jacket off? And he just kept going, jacket on, jacket off. And
that's a guy who's high on another dimension.
He was steaming. He was drunk off his ass. Like his guitarist almost kicked him in the head because he was trying to play the song, and Marilyn Manson kept coming up and like plucking the guitar and stuff, and you see him just like, swing the leg at him.
Like, hey bro, I'm just gonna quickly mosh in your fucking nuts.
Like, he was aiming for vitals. He wanted to take him the fuck out,
and that's why he left to join Rob Zombie.
Yeah,
that was still the funniest fucking thing ever. Like, Rob Zombie plays with Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson gets booed off stage most nights. Rob Zombie ends to rapturous applause. Steals two of his band members and tell him to go fuck himself. Bro, nice one.
Yeah, big plays.
Papa Rob Zombie. Just dropping bombs on everybody.
He released a new movie that I've still to watch, 3 from Hell. Continuation of the House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Reject storyline. It's up on Amazon Prime for free, so probably.
Shit, really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, Rob Zombie can't really get studio backing anymore.
So he just does what he wants.
He just I think he Patreoned it.
Ah.
He went to Patreon.
Fuck.
Made this movie. So yeah.
Next
time we talk, I'll be reviewing Joker. I'll be reviewing 3 from Hell.
I'll watch 3 from Hell with you, and then I'll just sit back and just relax and just let you run rampant over Joker.
Let me see Joker.
I think you'll walk away from them enjoying yourself.
Yeah. I've been told that if I do like the movie Joker, I'll not be as welcoming to the thought of having Joaquin Phoenix's Joker in the Batman.
Correct.
Really?
Yeah. I think this should stand by itself. I really do. I mean, it's fine. I don't mind. If they do it, I'm going to be okay with it. I'm not going to throw a shit fit. But I think this really should stand by itself. And the fact that he won all 4 leading actor awards.
Yeah,
from
it was
the
like
big
Golden
4.
Globes, Emmys.
He got the BAFTA, or Golden Globes is TV, but he won a bunch of screenwriters, Screen Actors, SAG Awards, BAFTA, Oscars, and then there was another one, I think.
It's independent something award.
Something like that. Some extra award that they're like, oh, this one really matters as well. And you're like, yeah, sure, buddy.
I'd be okay with the idea, or with the concept of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, or Arthur Fleck, not being the Joker, but inspiring the Joker. Kind of like what they tried to do in the TV show Gotham, saying like, this isn't the Joker, this is an early version of a psychopathic clown who is maybe being observed by some would-be Joker who's like, I'm going to be like that guy. But
that's doable. Yeah, with the way
I think it could be,
with the way they've left it, I think that could be doable. That he's in Arkham and he happens to meet the real Joker, or my personal theory that the Joker movie is a story he tells himself. He's like, I was totally downtrodden, I was off my meds, I was in trouble, and everything was going wrong for me, and that's why it all happened. You're like, no, dude, you're just a bad person. You're a horrific monster.
Because I would prefer it like that, because I've been told that in the movie Joker, Bruce Wayne's 8 years old. He's 8 when at the time his parents die, so
Yeah.
he's young.
Yeah, he's young. He's young Master Wayne.
Yeah.
He's not just Alfred, just being a kind of charming old British man. It is that he is a child.
He's a child.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think if they were to do that, they'd probably go for something like that. It's just he is the inspiration for the actual Joker, which I'd be okay with. But I actually had a thought about the Batman, and I was sadly mistaken about this thought. I thought it would be a much better film as if instead of Batman being Bruce Wayne, to justify how young Robert Pattinson looks, instead of saying, "Oh, this is Bruce Wayne," they made it Dick Grayson instead. But then I frantically looked. I was like, "Is he playing?" No, he's actually playing Bruce Wayne. I was like, dude, it could have been much cooler if you just said, "No, Bruce Wayne had his time." This is Dick Grayson as Batman.
Pattinson is not that much. He's a bit older than us, and yeah, he's not the bulk.
Yeah,
but he's just a little bit older than us.
Yeah, he's not that. I mean,
he's not as young as you think he is. That's the problem.
Yeah.
We've not seen him forever, so he's still that like 5-year-old from the Twilight.
Yeah, he still looks a hell of a lot younger than Ben Affleck, because Ben Affleck, I know a lot of people didn't like Batman vs Superman or the Justice League. He was a damn good Batman. He even looked like the animated series Batman. He had that kind of age about him. You could tell that if he was playing Bruce Wayne, you could see the experience on him.
Also had the butt chin.
Yeah, he did have the butt chin. Yeah,
the butt chin, very important.
that was why he was cast. Butt chin, he's got it. You're hired. Robert Pattinson.
We're looking for a man with a butt chin. Could you play Batman?
Just pulls a scarf down. You're goddamn right.
I am Batman.
I'm Batman.
Yeah. No, we're not doing that with this one. Oh, thank God.
We have a voice modulator. Yeah. But how does it work? Because your lips are still exposed to air. We'll figure it out.
It's in his throat. It's fine.
It's fine. He just swallows a pill every morning and puts a little voice modulator thing in. But yeah, I just thought that would be pretty cool. That instead of it being Bruce Wayne as Batman, they actually made it Dick Grayson instead, just to justify how different in age these two versions of Bruce Wayne look. Because it's not going to be a prequel or anything. This is just going to be same continuation Batman, which is going to be hard to explain.
Continuation from...
Like, it's still going to be in the same universe.
Oh, it's still going to be like Justice League.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking Christ.
From what I've been told.
This is why...
This is the problem, yeah.
This is why I think the Joker from the Joaquin Phoenix movie shouldn't be in part of this, because it gets so messy, it gets so complicated, it gets so studio-based rather than story-based. And I think that the Joker is a great story-based interpretation of the Joker and the Batman and that world. I think that's why I'd want it separate. But yeah.
Could be. But although the effect of Crisis on Infinite Earths has been stated to be felt in even the movie universe, the DC extended universe. So maybe as they're folding the universe together, Ben Affleck's Batman disappeared and Robert Pattinson's Batman is the one that got left.
I feel like Warner Brothers told everyone that, and they hoped that it would keep the comic book fans' hopes up. Like, guys, it could change at any moment. We promise. It could get good at any moment. Just keep watching. Please keep watching. We're so tired of losing to Marvel. Please, dear God.
Buy some cinema tickets, please.
Can you buy 2 tickets each, please?
The cinema's going to be half empty. We're going to give you shit. Buy some tickets.
The cinema will be half empty, but that'll be an improvement.
It won't be entirely empty.
Fucking got him. Right. I am ready for the showstopper.
As am I, sir. Let's do this.
So for the showstopper, I wanted to talk about this. It kind of cropped up during the week. I wasn't sure how to phrase it, but it was basically there was an issue with the newest edition of one of the largest anime and manga series to be basically released in the last 10 years. And that is My Hero Academia. It's a show I've been recommending non-stop to everyone who listens. Yep. Turns out there may have been a little bit of an incident when one of the main character names was revealed. And it was because that the name may accidentally reference Unit 731, which is a Japanese prison camp that was in mainland China during World War II.
Oh.
Now,
it is a bit tone deaf, that one.
Now, I genuinely think it's a mistake, but let's talk it out.
Yeah, let's hash it out.
So, Unit 731 was a prison camp in China where Chinese and Korean prisoners were deliberately infected with bacteria just to see how they would react and to find out what was the most effective method of killing the Chinese and Koreans using biological warfare. This was taken under... this was obviously a bit of a secret operation, and the name actually refers to the fact that it is a bit of a secret operation. And but basically, if you've never heard of this before, do a bit of reading because it's fucking nasty. But it's the Asian equivalent of like Auschwitz or Dachau, where you've got like Joseph Mengele like sewing twins together to see if you get an ESPN connection or whatever the fuck it is, or
ESPN connection.
ESPN. Dude, sometimes you really gotta watch Super Bowl.
We need to get Super Bowl. Satellite ain't working. Let's get two twins, stick them together. Move around a little.
Actually, I read up on some of his other experiments where he would infect a child with infect one twin with typhoid, then take the blood out of the first twin and give that blood to the second twin, just to see what would happen. Dude's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah. There's a reason why if you're a hack doctor that's got a very low mortality rate for his patient, you get called Dr. Mengele.
But yeah, China and Japan actually have really bad relationships over World War II. I don't know if you've heard.
I can't imagine why. This comes as a surprise.
Yeah, who would have thought that if you invade a nation, you don't take it very well, especially when you refuse to acknowledge any of the war crimes you commit.
Yeah.
For example, the comfort women, where Japanese officers would just keep female sex slaves from China and use them for their own pleasure and their men's pleasure, to the point of driving them to suicide, and then would never even really admit that it happened, despite the fact that it's a written record of this happening. And I've never officially apologised in any
We have
capacity.
pictures. Didn't happen, man. Didn't happen. Don't you talk about
no,
fake
man.
news.
Fake news.
Fake news. Fake news. Never happened. Never killed a woman.
So yeah, this is it's happened to the Koreans as well, because it's often forgotten that the Koreans suffered as much as the Chinese or anyone else at the time, under Imperial Japan at the time. And so the question becomes, how does this tie into favourite anime? Or one of my favourite animes.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 259 of My Hero Academia, published in February the 3rd, introduced a character called Shiga Maruta. Now, the family name Shiga is a tribute to the loyalty of the series' overarching villain Shigaraki, aka All for One. Now, this is something that's happened before, because the kind of like apprentice for Shigaraki also calls himself Shigaraki. So they adopt this family name. However, Shiga Maruta is going to be kind of a double agent. He's a secret agent, basically, for the evil side of the comic books. And so the fact he can't call himself Shigaraki, he calls himself Shiga, is a little kind of wink and a nudge. Yeah. So if you're paying attention, you'll figure it out yourself. Fuck, I've lost my notes. God.
It happens, man.
God fucking damn it. So when it came to giving him like his first name, the author decided to use the kanji for round and fat, because honestly, if you like breathed on this guy while he was walking up a hill, he would roll downhill.
Right.
Dude actually looks like Dr. Robotnik from the Sonic games. I don't know why, but for some reason I look at his face and I'm like,
so he's got tiny stick arms and just a massive round torso.
yeah, and he's got the mustache and for some reason aviator goggles, like World War I aviator goggles.
I think you need those if you're going to be a villain.
Yeah. So the problem is that the name Maruta also in Japanese also refers to lumber or wood, which is unfortunate because the victims of Unit 731 were referred to as lumber in code. The actual facility for Unit 731 was hidden as a lumber factory, and to keep up the kind of code name and illusion of the whole facility, they referred to the dead bodies of Chinese and Koreans as Maruta. So they're effectively calling them dead wood. Yeesh.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah,
that's a pretty rough situation for a little Japanese cartoon to be in.
Well, it gets.
It gets worse.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Because China and Japan are actually, or China and Korea are huge consumers of Japanese manga. They love it. It's very engaging for them. So they are basically just canning the series. It was originally, both the anime and manga were on Chinese platforms. They have been ripped off the fucking platforms. There was a game in the works by Tencent, who are a production studio that has a lot of shared interest in different facilities, even here in the West. But if you just take a look at the Tencent, they're a very proudly Chinese company. They have dropped the game that they were working on for My Hero. Like, the biggest property in Japan right now is probably My Hero Academia, except for like One Piece and the
One Piece in Japan is ridiculous. Like, they go nuts for that stuff. But yeah, you're saying My Hero Academia is just on that level, or just
it
below?
will be it's still a rising star. It will be on that level soon. It has been the biggest kind of import to the West since Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
And Tencent said, you know what, fuck you, dropping it. Dropped the game that would have raked them, like a mobile game that would have raked in cash for the company, and they just said fuck it, fuck you, and fuck your game. So suck it. So it's been pulled off of all those, and the other part of this is that it's something I found now. It's part of how uncredible the story is, where the guys, or the editing team and the writing team for the show and the manga have said, this is a mistake, we didn't realise, it's very offensive, we understand, we're very sorry, we're working on it, we'll rename everything that comes out to the English versions, and when we get things sorted, but we'll make things right.
Yeah.
And then
so this was the publishers in the West that were willing to make
the
it
Japanese,
right.
like, Shonen Jump themselves have come out and said, we fucked up, we didn't understand the significance of that name, we didn't see this coming, it was a total blindside on our part, thank you for pointing it out, we did not mean to cause anyone the offence that did, we are very sorry. The response to that was, go fuck yourself. Turns out that the people who are like the kind of hashtag activists that are kind of chasing
the
this story,
keyboard warriors and those fucks.
They found out new shocking evidence that My Hero Academia is actually pro-fascist, not because of any kind of like super soldier stories or anything like that that are involved in the story, but because one of the main characters, one of the kind of main rivals of the show is Bakugo, who has the same birthday as Hitler. Case closed, ladies and gentlemen.
My Hero.
This
is your favourite anime, you say?
More like My Nazi Academia. I fucking got him. It's
Mussolini Academia.
It's
Can that be the show title this week?
Mussolini
Academia.
Yes, we don't have a show title. Mussolini Academia is. The whole thing is just a shit show, but it turns out that on top of all these weird anime controversies, there is actually a genuine issue that's brewing between Japan, China, and Korea. Obviously, because there are these international incidents, turns out Japan is trying to do some tariff, like, kind of trade war shit with China and South Korea. South Korea produces a massive amount of electronics, and the Japanese government don't want to buy from Korea so they can make it themselves to kind of keep the manufacturing jobs in Japan. And this is all started off some like weird trade war over there. And it turns out it's so bad that Korean shops that have Japanese products, Korean protesters will go in, just grab the Japanese products, walk out the store with them, and burn them in front of the store. Oh. And the Korean shoplifters are like, I ain't getting involved in this. Fuck it. I'll take the hit of like 100 quid worth of product and just walk away from it all rather than be seen as pro-Japan. And I'll just take that financial hit. It's
so weird. Korean shopkeepers are just willing to let £100 worth of stock walk out.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, I mean, would you stop a mob of protesters? Nah.
I doubt I could, but
there's no point in it. They're just like, if I stand up for this, if I stand up for Japan in a Japan versus Korea argument, basically, I'll be labelled as a traitor, and then people just won't come to my business anymore. I'll be cancelled, basically. Yeah. So they're just saying, fuck it, let it run. I'll take the hit for that one and just replace it with Korean products so it doesn't happen again. Yeah. Which, I gotta say, pretty fucking effective protest.
Yeah. I mean, it worked. If it's getting to the point where people are too afraid to stock a certain product because of, potential lifelong backlashes, I think it's a very effective protest.
But I had no idea all this was going on, and it just so happened that because it crept into this sphere of anime and manga that I'm interested in, it turns out that there's like massive political tensions brewing between China, Japan, and Korea. It's fucking awesome.
Shit.
But there's not a lot in there. I see it as being a genuine accident. A lot of people say that the dumbest one I saw was, I explained the point about him calling himself Shiga instead of Shigaraki, and some people still believe that that's a reference to a Japanese microbiologist who found a type of bacteria called Shigella, which also causes similar infections that would be similar to, I think it's not dissimilar to typhus in a certain way, but when I looked into it, all the bacteria involved are like a degree different from each other. There's no way it's an intentional reference, and if it is, it's such a fucking hidden, like, 14th layer meta commentary. Like, nah, fuck it. It's bullshit. It's an accident. It's a genuine accident.
10 Cloverfield Lane levels of alternate reality games that you need to fucking sift through. Nah, I think that's the thing. There's so many, when you're making, there's so many different things that you need to worry about when you're writing an anime or writing a manga. Some things slip up. I think in this point it is a genuine mistake.
And
I think when he was making the character Bakugo, did I get the name right? Bakugo?
Yeah, Bakugo.
He wasn't thinking, oh, this guy has Hitler's birthday. He's just thinking, oh, I've given him a birthday. That's that character done. Now to write the billions of other characters that are going to appear in this show.
Yeah, and that's the thing is the cast of the show is huge. I mean, there are, so far in the anime, I reckon we've been introduced to 70 what I'd call worthy characters, as in characters who might have an impact on the story. And all those guys need to have like a full bio written about them.
Yeah.
And there's only 365 days of the year, and just about every day at some point could be associated with some horrific human act because humans are shit. So, if it happens to overlap, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's not intentional. I don't think anyone is deliberately going out there to try and, resurrect or open up old wounds or resurrect old beefs.
Yeah.
It's,
And the fact that the kanji for Maruta, because the name was supposed to derive from the kanji for round and fat. And it just so happens that those also become the kanji for lumber, which references Unit 731. Shit happens. I'm sorry, but I feel like it's part of a fuck Japan moment. Yeah. Because of the political tensions, and when you just happen to get a story like this, it really helps fucking drive up your
if it's going to definitely absolutely hit the nail on the head there. If it's going to give you an edge in any way, shape or form, if it's going to make more people engage with this whole fuck you Japan movement, they're going to blow it, they're going to inflate that up, they're going to plaster it on every medium that they can just to try and boost this movement. And
it's a story that just happens to have traction, and it was weird because I don't normally deal with this type of drama, especially not as a showstopper, but it was weird to find like there's just a weird hint of like a horror story working underneath some weird internet drama. So that's our showstopper for the day. We've been talking Gibberpish. I've been Colin Graham.
I've been Tom Anderson.
And if you'd like to contact the show, there is @Gibberpish on Twitter. Appreciate any feedback in the episodes, and you can email the podcast at gibberpishpodcast@gmail.com.
Soon to be a government organisation.
Soon. We're working on it. Turns out there's a lot of paperwork.
Yep. And I can't spell.
Yeehaw!